Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan. Today on the podcast, we are going to be continuing our Christopher Nolan director series. We are going to be watching The Prestige. It was released in 2006. It is written by Jonathan Nolan and Christopher Nolan, and it is also directed by Christopher Nolan. The film stars Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Scarlett Johansson, Rebecca Hall, Andy Serkis, and David Bowie. A mysterious story of two magicians whose intense rivalry leads them on a lifelong battle for supremacy, full of obsession, deceit, and jealousy, with dangerous and deadly consequences. Joining me, as always, for the director series are my two co-hosts, Vikash Patel and Martin Padilla. I will drop all of their info in the episode description, as always, so please give them a follow. They're great friends of the pod, and yeah, give them a follow. Now, I'm going to be watching the 4K copy I have of The Prestige, but it is currently available to rent on Amazon for $3.79, on Apple for $4, and on Fandango at home for $4 as well. I say we get things kicked off. We are going to be pressing play on The Prestige, and I hope you do as well. In 3, 2, and 1.
Okay. R.I.P. Stone
R.I.P. to
Pictures.
Touchdown.
We're not laughing at their death. We're laughing because I had a recording problem. Okay. But The Prestige.
Interesting that Warner Brothers and Disney worked together on this, technically.
Yeah, I know. I will say, I don't know about y'all, but Tesla. I'm not worried about that. Elon Musk. Like I've been a fan of Tesla since I was like 9. Like big
The
fan.
company itself?
No. Nikola Tesla.
The dude.
You mean David Bowie?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The man himself.
I was editing a thing about Spielberg and imagery, and we do not talk about how Nolan does his imagery because he does it well. This opening right here. Are you watching closely? Come on. Okay. Random spoiler for a movie that no one's gonna watch. Doom 2 or Doom 3, big movie in India. They take the twist of this movie and pretty much bar for bar just rip it off. And by the end of the movie, you're like, oh, of course he has a twin.
You mean to tell me that there's another Christopher Nolan semi-remake that's not Ghazni?
You need to make a list at this point for us so we can watch it.
But like Doom is it's meant to be action. It's supposed to be not Fast and Furious, but it's like almost better than Fast and Furious, in my opinion.
You know what Bollywood version I want to watch of a Christopher Nolan film?
Which one, Memento?
Tenet, dude. Memento's already got one.
Oh, yeah, it already has one.
It's Ghazni. But Tenet, low-key, I feel like Tenet would go so hard, bro.
Interstellar. That would go hard.
Would.
Interstellar would be so dope.
That's you know how hard it would be for them to do Interstellar.
Miller's Planet.
There's no song. That's just hell right there. That's sadness.
Did you guys see this in theaters? Are you too young?
I watched it recently.
Am I aging myself?
So
am I aging myself?
I did watch it in theaters, but very recently. I didn't watch it for its first run.
No, I didn't see it in theaters. I saw Batman Begins. Or sorry, The Dark Knight in theaters first. And then I realized that I saw when Inception came out, I realized that I saw 2 different movies in the theater that weren't Inception. And I just never saw Inception in theaters.
I saw Batman Begins in theaters.
I saw The Sorcerer's Apprentice instead.
Oh, bro.
Instead of
Sorcerer's
Inception?
Apprentice over Inception?
Damn.
Blasphemy, I know. Even though I enjoy that movie. My bad.
I think this came out the same time as around the same time as The Departed in 2006.
2006, yeah, I want to say.
The Departed.
I saw it in theaters. I'm old, I guess.
I was
Did you
eight.
know
I
it was
wouldn't say
Nolan?
that it was drawing my attention.
I think at the time I knew it was the guy. I think from the trailers it said from the director of Batman Begins, but that's all. I didn't really know like Christopher Nolan at that time. This is when I was like starting to like really get into movies. This is probably the second one I saw of his. The first one was definitely
Okay.
Batman Begins.
He's
His second collaboration with Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael
He was
Caine.
supposed to
Michael
blow the
Caine.
bloody doors off.
If you go back and watch like Michael Caine's older movies, it's kind of funny because that man was in literally everything.
He's awesome.
He's in the original Italian Job, no?
I think so. One of the rare cases where the remake is slightly better than the original. Same thing with like Oceans.
Mm.
Yeah. Ocean's 11. I have a friend who will preach for the original Ocean's 11, and I'm like, nope, the new one for me, please.
The original one's not bad, but the new one is just it's so it's so fun.
Just on
It's so
another
full of
level.
energy. It's such a different movie. Kind of the same thing with Italian Job though.
I remember
Shot
after
by
I
Wally
saw this,
Pfister, actually. He probably shot that before Batman Begins.
remember after I saw this in theaters, I think I saw it the next day again because I was like, I need to watch that again. And then immediately when I see his brother, I'm like, wow, it's so obvious that's Christian Bale in makeup. Like I'm a fucking idiot.
How old are you?
How old
How
am I?
old were you when this came out?
13.
I know you're old, but not like that.
I was 8.
Yeah,
I was
Wait, it was 2006.
7.
I was four. I
Oh
was
wait, no,
14.
no.
Sorry,
I was
I was
10. I
14.
was 10. I was.
Wow, such an old wise man.
So we come to
Seeing the
you.
prestige, seeing the
Where does
prestige.
this rank for y'all when it comes to Nolan?
It's kind of hard for me to rank anything Nolan because I feel like every time that someone asks me the question, like that kind of question, it always changes. Like I can never tell what my favorite of his is.
Yeah, I feel like I have so
No
many.
reason
5
why
out
I
of
ask
5.
is, oh, definitely same here. But I know people where they're like, my favorite movie of all time is The Prestige. Regular
It's a good
people,
pick.
not like cinephile types.
Working in home theater sales, I tend to make a lot of small talk, and so I ask people a lot, like what's the first thing we're watching on the new TV? What's the first thing we're watching on the new setup? I hear a lot of people say that their favorite movie of all time is, and this is, I mean, like, I think probably the most answered question or the most answered is Interstellar. Like
It's a
when
good
I
pick.
say that Interstellar is probably the biggest answer I get every freaking time, it is insane. Like I think there are a few other movies, but it's very rare that it's anything that's like not a spectacle movie.
Yeah, I have it where it's like
But we'll talk about when we
I
get to Interstellar because y'all are gonna see me cry when we watch Interstellar. Okay, that's already a given. Okay.
have it where it's like, to me, Oppenheimer is his best film overall, but Interstellar is my favorite film of his.
I
But I
I
know that like Oppenheimer, probably from a technical standpoint, is definitely his best film.
Oppenheimer and Tenet.
I
Not Tenet,
think
excuse me. Oppenheimer and Dunkirk.
Oppenheimer, Tenet, Interstellar, and Dunkirk are probably the ones I've rewatched the most of him, and they're probably they're his most recent ones for sure. But Tenet recently, dude, the first time I watched Tenet, it did not hit for me, but rewatching it the last like year or so, watching it in 70 millimeter IMAX, watching it with a friend, watching it at home, it's so much fun, dude.
When did you see this recently? Was it like a few months ago?
I watched it. You remember when they did it was the same week that Dune Part 2 came out because I went to the Dune screenings that were like the Sunday before the official release. That
Mm.
Sunday, and then the
Yeah.
Wednesday of, I called my friend. I said, "Hey, call into work. We're gonna go to Nashville. We're gonna go see Tenet on 70 mil." And he was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "Okay, cool, I'm in." So I called another friend, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm in." So all 4 of us drove to Nashville. The minute we got there, some dude behind us was talking. I was like, "Nope, shut up." I was like, "We drove 4 hours for this. We're gonna enjoy this. Please be quiet." and it was probably one of the best experiences I've had in a long, long time.
I've seen most of his movies at least 5 times, besides Tenet and Oppenheimer, just because like recency. But most of his movies like this, I've seen many, many times.
You've seen Following
And
10 times, right?
besides Following, okay, Following's not on there. That's like 3 times.
I still need to get the Insomnia criterion for the original release and watch it to kind of compare on it. But I almost picked it
Yeah.
up the other day.
It was actually Stellan Skarsgård's birthday a couple days ago.
Yeah, I saw he's like 73 now, I think.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. The Harkonnen.
Dude, why are the Wolverine and Batman in this movie? I don't understand.
Bro, why? That's exactly the same thought I just had.
Is there a post-credit scene at least?
Yeah, it's the portal opens up.
I hate
The
that
post-credit scene.
sometimes when I
Fucking
go to
Ethan
a movie, I
Hawke
just
walks out
saw
as
Bad Boys,
Tesla.
and I really had to look it up.
Dude, the wildest thing happened to me the other day when I went to go see Inside Out. I was sitting in the theater, just kind of like on my phone as waiting for like the trailers to go through. And I thought, like, okay, any minute the movie's gonna start, and a Red Band trailer popped up on the screen, and I was like, hold up.
No
Before
way.
Inside Out 2, yes. And I walked out and I was like, is there a manager around? And they were like, is there a problem? And I was like, just something you guys should probably know. And so I grabbed the manager and I was just like, hey, I was like, I don't mind because I'm, a grown man. But I was like, but there's gonna be people here with their kids this weekend. It's probably wise if you guys take that out. Like, and they were like,
Yeah.
Andy
oh,
Circus,
okay.
Andy Circus.
Whoa, that's King Kong. This movie has everybody.
That's
That's
freaking
Caesar.
Gollum, dude.
Caesar.
That's Gollum. That's Caesar.
That's Ulysses Claw from Black Panther.
That's Smaug. Hey, I always
Smaug is
forget he's in
Benedict Cumberbatch. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, never mind. Disregard
Yeah,
that.
gotcha,
I'll edit
gotcha.
that out. I'll edit that out. Damn, I guess I'll just log off. I'll see you guys later.
We were like joking about the multiverse. There's like a version of what was it called Tesla that has Ethan Hawke where he plays him. I think it's Ethan Hawke anyway, isn't it?
Wasn't there one with Tom Holland like a few years ago and Benedict Cumberbatch
Oh, there was two different
and
ones that
someone
came
else?
out
Yeah,
really
the
close
current
to each
war.
other. Kind of
The current
the
war,
same
yeah.
thing that happened
And
with this
yeah,
one
okay.
where like the Illusionist came out like really close to it, but there was the current war and then
So
there was Tesla. There was two different ones.
Yeah, but I knew about the Illusionist. I didn't know about the Prestige till like a couple years later. Because I
The
knew Ed Norton.
Illusionist is such a like step down in terms of quality though.
Oh, I never watched it.
You know why there's movies that are like this, like White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen, Deep Impact Armageddon, like come
Scripts
out the
go
same
around the
year.
studios.
Scripts go around the studios, yeah. That's like, oh, they won't buy the script, but they'll just take the idea, and that's why they released at the same time. For people that don't know, listening to that,
Hacks.
that's why you
They
Hacks.
call like what do they call like twin movies?
Yeah, like No Strings Attached and
To get like
Olympus Has Fallen
Friends
was
with
better.
Benefits.
Just
so you got
for
like
anybody
Olympus Has
listening.
Fallen, White House Down, 27 Dresses, and then what was the other one? Bride Wars.
Bride Wars, yeah, same type of vibe.
You got this and The Illusionist, and then I'd say there's a lot of bigger ones too. Like a lot of the big you get a lot of like concepts like Olympus Has Fallen that kind of get taken, or like Wyatt Earp and Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Olympus Has Fallen 5 times. Like no joke. Like gets played in my house a lot.
You know how I know that like concept is so funny because my dad watched White House Down, and he told me about it, and I was like, "Oh, it's Olympus Has Fallen." And then he bought that movie, and we watched it together, and he was like, "This isn't the same movie, but it is the same movie." Like he's like, "It's not the right movie, but it's like this is the
That's
exact
so
same
good.
movie." Like we watched it together, and I was like, "This is the same movie."
Someone definitely did that with this and
The
what's it called? The
Illusionist.
Illusionist.
Yeah.
Someone
It has
definitely
to
did
be,
that.
yeah.
They're
Yo,
like,
what-
they probably saw
what
us in theaters and they're like,
happened to
wait a
Piper
minute.
Perabo?
Wasn't she on a show?
Last time I saw her was in like Looper.
Wasn't she on a show for like a while? Like, was it USA or something?
Yeah, Covert Affairs. I watched that. I'm a fan.
Oh, she's in Cheaper by the Dozen,
Oh yeah,
I
she's the oldest
think.
Yeah,
daughter.
she's the older sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's Ashton Kutcher's girlfriend, I think. If this movie was made today, it's kind of crazy to think that like Rebecca Hall wasn't a huge name yet. But if this was made
Hmm.
today, her name would be all over that poster.
I don't think she's big enough right now. I don't think she's ever gotten her credit.
I mean, I think she got pretty big around like
Probably when she
maybe
was in
like
Iron Man 3,
2018.
maybe.
She's in Iron Man 3, yeah. Um,
She got nerfed in Iron
Godzilla,
Man 3, which we've already talked
Godzilla and
about.
Kong, Godzilla versus Kong. The Night
No
House
offense,
also.
but they got Brian
I love
Tyree
I love
Henry.
the
They
Night
got so many
House.
great. They got
The
a
Night
lot of good
House was one of
actors
the
in.
movies that like no one saw for some reason, and it
I
is
know.
amazing.
I have
She
people who
actually
love
said,
the Night House, and there's some people who hate the Night House, like legitimately.
Resurrection was pretty solid. She produced that one.
there's a
Unfortunately,
line
I
in
think she just
this.
had some
I
really good
still,
movies that dropped around like COVID.
I forget what I forget what part it's at, but there's a line in this that she improv that was I know like who you are, and she like she improved it, and then she got like nervous that it's like she kind of gave it away, like in the movie,
yeah.
basically like I
But
know
it
you're
works a
not
lot better.
him, yeah, like I know you're not the one I'm in love with.
Oh,
Then you watch it
whenever
again,
she
you're like,
says that, like it's not
wow,
you don't love me today or something like that.
yeah. She says like I know what you are. I think.
Yeah, she.
But the best part
Hugh,
about that is you don't know till the end,
mm-hmm. Hugh Jackman's fantastic in this.
or not the end, but he's. I mean, he's always fantastic. The one people didn't see recently was Bad Education.
I saw it.
Yeah, yeah. HBO
He's great
original.
in it, but I didn't love the movie.
Yeah, HBO should never have bought that. He would have an Oscar nomination easily for that, if not a win.
He has one for
Have you got?
Les Mis, no? I think he has one for Les Mis.
Yeah, yeah, no, but I'm saying just for that year, for like
Yeah.
2020.
Did you guys ever watch that
I love
like
this.
miniseries version of Australia?
No.
No, I forgot that exists.
Faraway Downs or whatever it's called.
I strictly stick with George Miller and Peter Weir when it comes to Australia. I do love Romeo plus Juliet though.
That's great. We watched that in high school.
The
Middle
nine,
school
They
for
have
like
me.
the 60s one,
guns.
the Criterion Collection version.
The Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, the Baz Luhrmann one, yeah.
I was like, they have guns. It's sick.
Did you guys see that video of Baz Luhrmann on Twitter where he's like talking to someone
Yeah.
online, like he's
Yeah,
talking to
yeah,
someone in the
yeah,
street,
yeah.
and he's going crazy in that video. It is so funny.
Yeah.
Then he just like, isn't he just like, why are we having this conversation or something?
Yeah, like he's like, what's the point of this conversation? Like it's so funny
Yeah.
to have him just like call that shit out. This was like 2000. This released 2006. He was probably prepping for like X-Men when he did this movie.
Didn't The Last
Which
Stand come out in 2006?
Origins?
2006, I think. Well, okay, so
Yeah.
like he did this X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, and then he did Origins like back to back with this, and then
Damn.
Australia came out 2008. So yeah, he was booking, dude. And then The Fountain the same year, like I think 2008 or 2009.
Oh, I forgot about The Fountain.
Yeah. And he hosted the Oscars. Don't forget that. That's
Yeah.
my favorite
Dude was
Oscars that I've
busy.
ever like watched live.
Dude was so busy. Also, The Fountain is just such a great movie that no one talks about.
There she is.
Rebecca Hall.
Godzilla versus Kong actress Rebecca Hall.
I love that this movie, like the gore. Okay, I assume this movie's PG-13, but like the whole thing when his hand gets stuck in that, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
unforgettable. It's
it's pretty
horrifying.
graphic.
Yeah.
Is that Nolan's son?
Oh, the line right here, I think that you're talking about.
I think the kid is Nolan's son, one of his kids.
I think the kid gives the line away. It's like a clue. He says like, "But what about his brother?"
Yeah, it's kind of good foreshadowing. Like she knows, and then the kid kind of like hinting that like his brother's fine. He's right here. Yeah, then you watch it again, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, it's
Oh,
so
right
Tragic.
away.
It's
obvious.
Like
tragic.
it's so right there.
It's so obvious. It's right in front of your face. Obviously, at this point, you don't like really
Well,
understand.
It's kind of crazy to think. I mean,
but
the
I
whole thing
think
with his finger,
that's
how he
the
has to
whole
like
point of the
cut it off.
rewatching, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When
Dang,
he
look
like the
at
best part
that.
about Nolan movies is rewatching his movies because every rewatch is like rewarded. Like it actually
Oh yeah.
matters to rewatch his movies.
I feel like
Are
Tenet,
you
if you when you
Wait
watching
a
kind of learn to
minute.
understand it,
Two
it's probably the most
Face.
rewarding, low key.
Oh my god, it's Two Face.
You think you probably use the same point for this?
He's like, wait.
it? I gotta
He's like,
keep
save
that.
that. We got to use it.
I know he never will, but I wish he would make like a lower budget movie like this. I mean, this probably isn't a low
He will.
budget because these
Don't say never.
actors are
Don't
getting
say
paid
never.
a lot.
I think at some point, like I'd be surprised if Nolan really rides this forever. Which, good for him. I want him to, but you never know. Like he might fumble, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a bad day for cinema. But it just means that he has to, rewind and make smaller movies, and he's gonna make more money for them again. But who knows?
Okay, so here's a question for everyone. If you could go back pre like Inception before you started doing all the IMAX shit, and if you could
Hmm.
give any of those movies, like this movie or Batman Begins or Memento, whichever one you want, really, if you could go back and give it a bigger budget, even an IMAX release to the point where you can get like an IMAX feature on the Blu-ray and everything like that, which movie would it be? You can only pick one.
Technically, I would just do Inception because Inception technically isn't that much IMAX.
I guess the Dark
Like
Knight.
there's
Are you saying with no IMAX at all?
There's very few minutes of, I guess both that and Inception where like the IMAX really shines, but yeah. You do
because
the
in
whole thing in
IMAX, I
IMAX
mean
though?
they because in Inception, yeah, Inception I would have shot in IMAX, honestly. Like the way that he and Hoyta shoot, they should have done that for IMAX for Inception
It was still such a new like I guess normalizing and
format.
stuff like that. It's such a
Mm-hmm.
even in 2010 it was still so
But
new.
I mean, I'll get into it later, but the fact is that Wally Pfister and Nolan really pushed it. But what Hoyta did was he really got with the glass and crafted new lenses and new approaches, essentially, of how to use that camera and make it as accessible as possible creatively. So he upped Nolan's game visually in a great way.
And the cameras used to be so loud.
They still out. I
They
mean,
still
Yeah.
are, but even then, like every year that they like put something else out, they're always like it's a little bit quieter, but it's still
Yeah.
fucking loud.
Give it like another 20 years, it'll be a silent IMAX camera.
they just start putting like soundproofing around it.
Yeah.
That's all they could really do. I mean, I can't think of anything
Yeah.
else that they could really do to
And
like minimize it.
shoot it like Babylon, stand in the door. Stand in the
Yeah,
whole thing
someone
longer.
dies.
Yeah. And this is all like accurate. Like they would use obviously people that they know in the crowd. It was never someone they really
Yeah.
didn't know. Even all the other people, they like all kind of knew them. And like the disappearing man trick was like an actual like big trick at the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if people did have twins and do that. That's how they did the trick.
But I think the biggest part of this for me is like I love these show, like I love magic and all that sort of stuff. But for this, the tension is always there. Every one of these scenes, it feels horrifying that like, are they actually going to pull this off or not? Everyone else, obviously, the audience is actually watching for like, you know, they're going to pull it off. Obviously, like they're there to be excited, but as audiences of the movie itself, we're horrified, right? At
I
least
think
Mm-hmm.
I
in a
am.
way, it's almost like a very specific version of like the bomb under the table thing that Hitchcock says. It's like not only do we see the bomb, but we see how the bomb was like made, and
Mm-hmm.
it's almost more
Mm-hmm.
horrifying to see it almost like
Exactly.
go off. Yeah,
Well, it's even like this scene. The first time you saw this scene, they didn't show Michael Caine on the side. Like you watched the trick itself in the audience, and now we're watching the behind the scenes of the trick. And once you see Michael Caine with the axe, you're like, oh, this could go horribly wrong. And obviously, it does go horribly wrong. Now that we know the magicians.
We need more co-lead movies. That's what I was thinking about. Like this is very much half and half, Bale and Hugh in my head. And why don't they do
Mm-hmm.
this more? Whether it's this, whether it's like Face Off, like just embrace it. And that's what buddy cop movies are. Like, the most recent great one was Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, The Nice Guys. Like we
Mm-hmm.
need more of
dude,
this. And
I think
across
about the nice
genres.
guys so often. I love the nice guys.
Me and my buddy saw it in theaters opening weekend. No one was in the theater, and that sucked. But
I'm
love
pretty
that
sure I told you
movie.
guys this story before, but like opening night, it was so dead for that showing that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go in there and watch it, and if they need me, they can pull me out. I was the
Mm-hmm.
only one in that theater. Opening night, 7 p.m. Like not a single person showed up to that movie.
Who's to blame? Like I never.
Obviously, he doesn't remember because the other brother would tie the knots. So he's like, I don't know. I don't know what knot I tied because it wasn't me. Like literally the second time I watched this in theaters, my mind was like being blown every scene. I was just like, dude, it's so obvious. Like, of course she died. Like, and he's still in shock that she died because it's like it wasn't him that usually does
You
the
know,
trick with him. Like,
in a strange way, like I mean, it's back to kind of the thing that Vikash was saying that you have to watch all these movies twice to completely like get it. But this does kind of play out the same way that you like watch Tenet in the same sense that like you're keeping track of who is who and which one is the
mm-hmm.
inverted one and which one is like everything is so just so
I'd
investing.
argue like Tenet is the only one where he's like throw the logic out of the window and just enjoy this
Mm-hmm.
one.
Well, have you guys watched Tenet with the
We
commentary at all? Or even I can't remember if it was on the special features, but there's something
He
where he
has a
was saying
commentary.
where I can't remember which one it was. It may have been the commentary, it may have been the special features, but I remember at one point hearing Christopher Nolan say that basically saying that they couldn't take too long to explain the logic or the science behind the movie in the like the way that the plot works because they said that if you did that, it loses the audience, but
It
if
would
you kind of
fall
hold their
apart.
hand all the way through,
Yeah.
even if they don't completely understand it, they understand the stakes. And that's true because the first time I watched it, I didn't completely understand it, but I was able to pretty much follow what was happening. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
until I watched it again at home with like a good sound system and good subtitles that I could follow what everyone was saying because the sound mix on the movie was terrible. But I was able to understand a lot more and follow it. And I was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense that I understand like this guy's thick Russian accents.
I've been waiting to rewatch it, and I think we might need to push doing Interstellar till we go watch it in theaters because I feel like that conversation would be really good.
We gotta have our mics
Because
just
we
like
will
chilling
be
in the
seeing it again. All you hear is the movie, and then us just cry. You'll hear me
In
crying.
the back.
realistically, if you guys want to, like I would totally be fine with just like waiting for Interstellar to be last, if that means we all get to see it in theaters. Obviously not recording in theaters, but
I
like
mean,
seeing it, experience it again
no,
and then
no,
doing the
no,
pod
no. The
again.
I think, what do we have? We got enough time.
We got
Actually, we don't, but we'll
Dark
figure it out.
Knight, Inception, Dark Knight Rises, and then Interstellar.
Oh, actually, never mind. We have time. If
Favorite for
we're
last?
going at the pace we're at, we're fine. I totally forgot about the Dark Knight
We can push
Rises.
it to last. We can push it to last. There's no. I mean, we're
Worst case
gonna do it in
scenario,
order,
we
but it's
just
fine.
we tell the fans, we tell Twitter, we tell everybody, hey, we're gonna do Interstellar, but we're just gonna hold off to see it in a 70 mil.
70 mil and then come back again and watch it.
Yeah. Because that's I don't think I've seen that movie in like probably a year now. Like I think I rewatched it right before Oppenheimer. I rewatched most of Nolan's films.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in about 2 years or 3 years, fully at least. And that movie is just. Do y'all remember the teaser trailer for the movie? I think it's one of the best
For Interstellar?
teaser trailers ever made. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so simple,
My
but it
The
favorite
works
of
one
so
where
well.
that,
it's just McConaughey just
mm,
like
it's like the countdown.
narrating. There's
It's like,
no like real
no,
footage.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's an
How
IMAX
funny would it be
trailer
if
that's
like there
like,
was a
what's
sorry,
that?
you're saying IMAX? No, I was saying
Yeah.
how funny it would be
No,
if there
there's
was
an
like a
IMAX
Lincoln
trailer
trailer with
for
McConaughey.
there's an IMAX trailer. It's on YouTube, but it's like someone filmed it, I think, in the theater. So it's
Yeah.
not like officially online, but it's probably I think it's the best trailer for Interstellar. It does like has like
There's they
it has the
I know the
JFK
one you're
speech
talking
of going
about.
to the moon. Has the JFK speech of going to the
Yeah,
they
moon. Right? Yeah.
I do have I have that downloaded somewhere, saved on a hard drive. That cam copy you're talking about. I know
it's like
exactly what you're talking about.
they would premiere all of his trailers for movies during like huge like just random movies. Like I remember seeing the trailer for Tenet and Hobbs and Shaw. The trailer for
Bro,
The Dark Knight
I
Rises,
was
where everybody kind of like
bro,
giving it slack because you couldn't really understand Bane either.
I made Zach bring his brother, and we went to go see Hobbs and Shaw in IMAX, 100%, just for the Tenet trailer, and then they didn't play the Tenet
Yeah.
trailer. I mean, like
I went
Zach
Did you
wasn't,
get
specifically
up
to
and
watch
leave?
that
Did you
trailer.
get up and leave?
you didn't feel bad about it. I was like, I felt so bad.
They it's strange because it's like they really make an event out of it. Like even the whole
I
thing
should
with
have.
like The Dark Knight Rises. I remember that like I went to just go see the trailer for that, and then everybody online was saying that Bane sounded weird because it was like opening scene, like the prologue with the plane and stuff.
Yeah, I love the
Um,
Bane voice.
the Interstellar one I remember seeing, but I didn't see it again for a
All right,
while.
guys. Gun time. That'll shut everybody up.
The fire
Like
rises.
what I love about this is the entire movie
Yo,
is basically
Christian
shot
Bale,
handheld.
Margaret Robbie in a Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
I don't know if you
Christian
told me
Bale.
Christian Bale was gonna be in a Pirates movie around this time, I'd be like, hell yeah. But now it's like I don't know.
I mean, it can't get any worse than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder is like I
Look
want to
what
put
they
my
did
hand
to
in a
my
blender
boy.
watching that movie, dude.
Are you mad?
And he willingly works with David O. Russell still.
He's such a strange David Russell's such a strange dude. Piece of shit too, but whatever.
Another hint here
Yeah.
about Hugh Jackman's makeup and what he's wearing. His brother is wearing the same stuff. I don't know. It's my brother over there. Ask him. Yeah, this movie's entirely like shot
Hugh
handheld.
Jackman
Where's
Though,
that
low-key
movie
looks
except
like
for
how
a
he
premiere?
few
did
scenes.
in Pan.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Pan, yeah.
I mean,
Pan.
his shoulder rig.
Yeah, Pan. I guess this is
Do you guys remember
yeah,
Pan, the
tripod here.
movie starring Rooney Mara and Hugh Jackman?
As Tiger Lily.
The way I
That was
Did they
hate
start?
stupid,
Joe Wright
dude.
for
Didn't
That
they
doing
was
start
that.
singing? Didn't they start singing like
Joe
Metallica
Wright
or
did
something?
Pan.
Yeah.
He sings
Yeah.
Nirvana.
When Joe Wright goes outside of period pieces, he gets a little weird. Like, but
I
when he
did
goes
not
back to
know
the
Joe
period stuff,
Wright
he's
did
pretty
Pan,
good.
dude. That is crazy. Avery is reading Atonement right now, and I've not read the book, but I've definitely seen the movie. And so she is reading, and every now and then, like I'll hear her like gasp, and I'm like, "Yep, yep." Like,
I like how you can hear the baby crying in the background as they're worrying about this.
Mhm.
Like, how are we gonna provide for the family?
how funny would it be if friggin' Leo just shows up and sits next to him and is like, "You're in a dream.
Yeah.
I'm here to save you."
Everyone stops and looks at him. Damn, another
See,
pint.
talking about
Oh,
other Nolan movies, it makes me want to watch other Nolan movies, but I know we're about to watch them, so I'm keeping it in the tank.
Inception might be one I rewatch because that's one I rewatch pretty often.
honestly, I rewatch Dunkirk a lot.
Dunkirk's
I
not
think
one that I
Dunkirk's
rewatch a
fast.
lot, but
It's
when I
so
do
I
fast.
think
watch it,
Dunkirk is great. I remember when I saw that like a group of people, I was like the only one that loved it. They're like, yeah, it was all right. But definitely some of the people that watched it with me have watched it more and they're like, wow, it's actually again a second watch, they're like, wow, this is actually really good.
whenever we
I think
showed that at
I
the
the
saw it
timing
cinema,
birthday
factor well.
weekend. That's the only movie I've seen on film in the last like 10 years or whatever since they, took out film projection, and it was fantastic. My friend did have a panic attack towards the end of the movie though, so he had to get out.
Damn.
that's unfortunate.
Was it because of the movie
A
or
lot of
just
people didn't like it whenever we were
Because of
showing
the
it.
movie. It was too intense for him.
like the oil scene probably? It's kind of
Yeah,
anxiety
exactly.
scene.
Exactly.
The oil scene is so intense too.
Stay off the stage. He just like yells at everybody in this movie, Michael Caine. God damn it.
He's a
Listen
good
to me.
Yo,
yeller.
isn't this
He's a good
kind of
yeller.
the anti Harry Potter?
Basically.
It's kind
This
of
is
strange to
prime
think
pearl
Get
girl with the
there.
pearl earring, Scarlett Johansson.
this is 35 minutes
Damn, that's
in,
a
dude.
deep cut. Girl with the pearl earring. You got a deep cut ScarJo reference.
You guys remember she's in Home Alone 3?
What can I say? I'm a
Remember
fan.
when she was in Quills? Remember when she was in Quills? You probably don't remember when she was in Quills.
Oh, okay. Here we go. This is stressful. That rig, man.
She was huge at this time though. Like she's 35 minutes in is when she first shows up, and her name is on like the poster. She's on the poster too, like
Yeah.
very like
Yeah.
hidden
There's
kind of in the smoke.
uh Vicky Christie Barcelona. He's just not into you. She was popping off at this
They're all
point
after
on
that,
all
no?
ends.
Those are after that, no?
Right
There was
after
something
this,
else
yeah.
after this.
She did like the Nanny Diaries before this or something. You ever seen that?
Lost in Translation was 2003, I
comedy?
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're forgetting Home Alone 3.
I said Home
The
Alone
best
3.
one. Jesus.
Y'all never gonna let me go
Oh,
about
you did?
that.
I said Home Alone 3. If you go back, I promise you, when this episode drops, go back and listen. You'll hear me say Home Alone 3.
He did. He did.
Damn. All right, I'll
Which,
take your
like,
word
hot
for it.
take. Home Alone
I'm off
3.
today. I'm off today.
Home Alone 3, not that bad. I said it. Now, Home Alone 4, garbage.
Home Alone 5, they really start to turn the franchise around.
You talking about Saw?
No, there's a Home Alone 5. It was an ABC Family original
Yeah.
movie.
I haven't seen the fifth one, actually. I didn't know that there's a fifth one, but have you guys seen that theory about people online
And
saying,
there's
like, oh, well, like, the
there's like a
kid is from
newer
Home
one.
Alone
I think
and
there's a
Saw.
newer one on. Oh yeah. Oh, that sound. Great cut there.
Where's David Bowie?
He needs more money. He turned it down. Nah, I'm good, dude. Yeah, he originally turned it down. And then I think Nolan like personally went to his house and it was like, look, man, here's the script.
On
And
his
then he was
red
like,
paper.
okay, I'm in.
Locked him in a room and was like,
He's
read
like,
it
okay,
now.
I'm in, sir. I'm in, sir, Christopher Nolan.
Oh, yeah, he's a knight now.
You know who's really supposed to direct this?
Oh,
Like,
he
really
is?
back
Yeah,
in
I
the
remember reading something
Who?
about how like he almost directed this. That's true.
Sam Mendes was the original director for a while.
That actually makes sense.
I
This
think
is
the script had been around since the 90s.
There
And
was
that's
a
but
why it
this
was
movie
couple
doesn't
tossed
work
around to
without Nolan.
studios a lot. They come up with the illusionist.
what other
And I
movie? There's
think
another
the
movie that he was
writer,
supposed to do too. Not Sam Mendes, but I mean like another movie of Nolan's that was almost made by somebody else.
because I think the producer, because I think Mendes eventually dropped out of it. And then someone sent the producer that had the script a VHS copy of Memento. And then he was like, all right, no one can do this.
Good old VHS. Okay. Now
I
I'm
mean,
getting
this is kind of a
stressed.
memento vibes a little bit with the amount of like
Oh yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
jumping
Like
in time.
this movie doesn't work without Nolan. Nolan adds the actual like juice to this movie. Like the tension of it is just the way that he thinks about the story and edits this movie. He brings the tension with him.
It all of his movies almost like heavily rely on like structure and kind of like out of not chronologically watching a movie, I guess is better. I can't remember the word I'm looking for.
The man is always
My brain
messing
is
with
fried
time.
right now with Elden Ring.
That's his fetish. Okay. Okay.
Close your eyes
Legitimately,
and your
I
ears.
hate this.
Close your eyes and ears.
I hate. What do you mean? I can't stop watching. Like, this is actually horrifying. Like, horror movies don't horrify
Remember
me.
me. Shit, I remember you. Oof.
Take
I
that,
shouldn't be
sucker.
laughing, but like that's how you do it right there, man.
Yeah. You should give him a little wink. Instead of just a smile.
Actually, you're right. A wink would have been good.
Because then he could have been playing like the other brother because the other brother is way more aggressive in his like in how he like acts around, especially around Rebecca Hall. That's how she knows that it's like not him.
He's a
Like you're
bit more
different
like
things. He's so much more
blunt and
like
kind of petty.
he's more more standoffish, as in like just
He's
very
very
direct.
hostile.
Yeah.
And I think you're like Martin, you're talking about like shooting this stuff in IMAX. I think it would
Yeah.
fundamentally change these movies because the framing for IMAX itself would,
Mhm.
for that film would change the way that he's shooting the movie fundamentally.
So in that sense, I mean, back to that kind of sentiment you have there, I think with a lot of like specific moments with like his movies, Inception being one of them, Tenet being one of them, Oppenheimer being one of them. He kind of like he saves a lot of the IMAX sequences for like the big key moments, right? So like, would you save the IMAX sequences for the like on stage moments where they're doing magic kind of thing?
Yeah. In Inception, it would be I would just make it a
All the
full
dream sequences.
like try to make it almost like dream sequence only. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That from FX, fantastic show.
I would use him for like the
Bro,
Tesla scenes.
don't. I watched Legion. I'm a fan. Noah Hawley, man. Yes, bro. When he walks
We have
out,
to plug.
one
We
of
have
the
to plug
coldest shots of
every
all time.
have to plug every FX on here every time.
Because in Legion, they have like three different aspect ratios they use in that show, and then Westworld started using different aspect ratios in like season 2.
Fargo does it sometimes too.
Yep, Fargo.
I love seeing like film and TV show like kind of play with aspect ratios. I feel like whenever it becomes kind of deliberate for like specific key sequences or even like part of the storytelling, it's really effective. But when it's just like for the fuck of it, it's like, what's the point of this?
Oh, you mean Transformers: The Last Night, Michael Bay?
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins getting blown away and in freaking IMAX.
Honestly,
And it's the way that there's like
Like
three
Anthony
different
Hopkins
shots
made
too.
that
Like they
movie.
did.
Yeah, within one scene. Oh, here we go. Ah, here. This is sensational imagery.
Electricity.
This is right after King Kong for him.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Wires. Exactly.
Bro, he plays two different characters in King Kong. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is he like the chef? He's the chef on the boat. Or something.
He's got
Yeah.
like a cigar hanging out of his mouth like the whole movie.
Yeah.
He's got like a
It's like
little
Popeye. He looks like
minigun.
Popeye.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah, he does. He does. I haven't seen King Kong in like 10 plus years, but like I remember like the back of my hand. Unforgettable
Dude,
movie.
rewatch King Kong. It like I watched it like once a year, and it is so damn good every time.
My man
There's
Kyle
one
Chandler.
scene.
Kyle Chandler's so good in that
There's
movie.
like there's one scene where the CG just looks terrible, but everything else looks so good.
I mean, embrace it. I mean, Peter Jackson knew what he was doing. It sucks that the man hasn't like actually made a movie in a minute.
He's
Yeah, that
working on
was all the
Tintin too, I
Hobbits. The
believe.
last one. Yeah, I
He
think
should have
Guillermo.
never
I think
made those
Guillermo's working on
movies.
that too.
Well, I don't think he wanted
Yeah.
to. Guillermo del Toro was kind of set to make him, and then del Toro bailed, and the studio was like, "Well, we
The
need
studio was
someone
like
to do it." And he
interfering
was
so
like, "I
bad. Yeah.
guess."
What y'all know about ACDC?
It's
I've
fine.
always been
Just an electrical
anti
problem.
Thomas Edison, just so y'all know.
Yeah. Edison's one of those guys he's like I compare him to a Paul Revere. Like Paul Revere wasn't the only one riding around on a damn horse saying the British are coming. Many people were, but Paul Revere was an asshole and he took credit for the whole thing. He'd go into every bar and say it was me that did that. It's like, yeah, dude, you weren't riding around the entire Northeast saying the British are coming. That'll take you forever. Like Edison takes credit for electricity when many others were doing it.
And the filament was made by
Mm-hmm.
a black man. So
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who actually helped him.
And a lot of women said the British were coming. They had signs.
I'm laughing because we talked about this
We
on
talked about
National
this.
Treasure.
I went on a rant. Dude, just pull out your Wolverine
The
claws and
narration,
slice it.
the narration actually really works well in this one. Like I love the narration in this. Because when it comes to narration, it can get corny. But
Mhm.
here it's emotional. I
Josh
like the
Hartnett,
framing here. Like the framing of like where the camera's placed of like the bars. Because that it very much sells the, easily sells what's going on.
I read that Josh Hartnett was originally supposed to be Hugh Jackman's role.
Kind of nice to see
I've
an
come back
Oppenheimer
around
movie
on
around
that guy. Yeah.
We got him in a Shyamalan film this year.
He finally got to be in a Nolan and
Honestly,
Oppenheimer.
I haven't watched the Trap trailer besides like the first 5 seconds. I heard it, spoils the movie, whatever. I'm excited to watch that movie. The premise sounds fantastic.
I don't know how true it is about the trailer spoiling something. From what I understand, a lot of people who were at the test screenings for it said it was really good, but the trailer's very misleading. In a
Okay.
very good
I
way,
mean,
by
you
the
know
way.
me. for me, it's like if you have a good premise, and like I'm not like tempted to watch your trailer, I avoid it by all cost.
Well,
Like
actually, okay, here's the thing is, the premise of the movie, right? Is the whole thing that there's like a concert and there's something
yeah,
pretty
and then
dark happening at it.
yeah,
So the trailer, I think everybody thinks gives it away. Like everybody thinks like, oh, well, why would they show us that in the trailer? When in reality, everybody who went to the test screenings is saying like, oh, well, like you
it's
think this
M
is a
Night.
spoiler, but
It's literally
it's
M
very
Night.
much
Like,
not.
do
Like
y'all not know who you're
it's very
dealing
much
with?
something else.
Yo,
Yeah, like I remember thinking
what is
he wouldn't have done the trailer.
Nolan's fascination with putting Tristan Bale in jail?
Isn't he just
Yes,
good?
sí, pasará, pasará.
Oh, yeah, because he goes to like the Dark Knight Rises too. He does go in jail a lot.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Y'all, y'all.
Legend.
Rest in peace, my man.
My favorite musicians ever,
Oh,
Mr. David
yo.
Bowie.
Enter any movie besides the Joker.
Mr. David Bowie.
I
Hello,
was
my
at
son
school
is
when I
making
found out that
moon.
he died, and I lost it.
Y'all,
I had to go to the bathroom and cry. I did.
I was actually driving
yeah.
out to LA to move out here.
Pierce Bro Pierce Brosnan is who he sounds like in this movie. Uh Bowie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I feel like if you made this now, Pierce Brosnan could play this role.
But like the
They do.
voice
They
is
do have the
very
same
much
voice.
like I don't know. Yeah. I gotta watch what's the new Bowie thing that came out? I gotta watch that at some point.
Oh, Moon Age.
Moon Age
Daydream.
Daydream, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's on
so good. It's
Criterion.
in the Criterion now. Yeah.
Criterion Collection. Yeah.
How'd y'all
But
feel
going
about the
back to
Criterion announcements today,
they're pretty good today. Pretty solid.
dude?
All the strangers getting in
Every
there.
single copy I want to grab.
And I haven't got Repo Man yet, so I was like, hell yes, I'll get the 4K.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it was getting a 4K pretty soon. I was like, I'm not getting that anytime soon.
But we were talking about earlier with Edison. If you go back to that scene, the guy that says like, there's a guy that stands up and says there's an electrical problem with it. See, he's actually later he's one of Edison's guys. So it's kind
Of
of like
course.
a contrast.
What a
It's kind of a
shill.
contrast of like because Christian Bale is also there, so it's like the same kind of contrast. They're both magicians. Even other like people in different job markets do the same thing. Like they're gonna go
Okay.
steal essentially.
I feel stupid. I probably forgot this. Okay, does Bowie have heterochromia or is it for
Yeah,
this
he
movie?
does. Oh no.
IRL?
Something happened with his eye. So I
Okay.
think both of his eyes are colored the same, but what it is that I think
Is one of the pupils
whenever
like
he was
large
young
or
or something like
something?
that, he had one of his pupils is larger than the other. Whenever he was younger, for some reason, I can't remember what happened, but he got in some sort of injury, and one of his
Okay.
pupils became bigger than the other, and it just never went back to the same. So,
Because
yeah,
I
they're
don't
the
know. I
same
don't
color. One of the
or like
pupils
every
was
time an
bigger.
album comes up, I don't really see it. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Him and Bob Dylan are like my favorite like artists of all time. David Bowie hated Bob Dylan.
How do you
He
think
literally
that new
said,
Kendrick
he literally
Lamar
said,
for me.
have you heard him sing? Like, so funny. Yeah, he never got the Bob Dylan appeal.
you think that new James Mangold film will be good?
I hope.
Yeah. We were talking
Because
about
Dylan's
Walk the
like my
Line
favorite
recently.
artist.
He's gonna land the plane on that. I mean, Mangold emotionally knows where he's going for the most part. I think his emotional compass is correct always, but it's just story elements might get in his way at times.
Ford v Ferrari is pretty solid. I mean, Logan was good. Indiana
Mm,
Jones and Dial
I
of
just
Destiny, though.
That's a 6 at best. Uh Ford
Yeah, I
versus
did not
Ferrari,
like.
legitimate 5 out of 5 movie for me. Like amazing movie for me.
Oh, Ford v
Logan, I
Ferrari is
just
amazing.
rewatched yesterday. Logan is a 9. It's really, really good. Like I love that movie. But Ford v Ferrari, I don't know. There's something about that movie, like the text of the movie, but also like the energy of that movie of just like, striving for greatness, trying to beat the other guys. It's like a sports movie, but it's also, a bunch of other things put together in the best way.
This is my favorite.
Ford v Ferrari is awesome. Yeah.
My favorite cut right here. Like this is my favorite editing in this whole movie because you don't see the trick. When he says it's the greatest magic trick I've ever seen, but then you don't see it, and then the audience just like doesn't clap because they don't understand it. It's my favorite. This is my favorite part of the movie.
This
Yeah, so
movie
you
takes my
you
breath
don't
away.
see the end. Yeah, you don't see the end of the trick. Yeah, it was the greatest magic trick I've ever seen. And I love that moment because it's like he realizes like this guy's actually pretty fucking good. Like it was the greatest magic trick I've ever seen. Like god
Yeah.
damn it. Like you leave that like auditorium, you're like, well shit.
I want y'all to watch Nerd Writer. He has a YouTube channel. I want y'all to watch I'm gonna send it to y'all. It's a piece about the Prestige.
I've seen his
And
stuff.
he
He's
gets
pretty
into
good.
it. Yeah. Like he talks about how this movie and some of Nolan's other movies, he's very much talking about filmmaking and in certain ways. And this like direct comparison of, Danton, the two guys is
Mm.
very much like who is one is good at one thing, the other one like Borden's good at another thing. Like Borden's the actual genius, and then Danton's, the showman, the greatest showman, if
Mm-hmm.
you'd like to say that.
Yeah.
I still
But
haven't seen the greatest showman.
I
I
mean,
need
you
like
have a lot of
I need a
dude.
soundboard.
Greatest Showman is fine. It's one of those movies that's like really there for the visuals and the story and like the songs, but the story
The
is just
songs, yeah.
garbage. The
Especially
movie
with the
I've heard
itself
the
is
stories,
so
songs.
especially
insanely
who the story's
shallow.
about. Especially who the story's about. These
Yeah, that's why I didn't
terrible human
watch it.
being.
I feel like that was a movie that whenever I was working at the theater, like everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the best thing I've seen all year." And I'm like, "Is that the only fucking thing you've seen all year? Like, come on now, like
It
there's
made
gotta be something
Bro,
made a
better."
ton of money. It made a ton of money.
my
Oh, it made
nephew would
so
be
much
like,
money.
my nephew would put on the soundtrack, and I'd be like, Passing and Paul, they actually they did songs for this movie called La La Land. Let's listen to that instead.
The songs are really fun, but the movie itself is so
Yeah,
insanely
the songs are
shallow and
pretty
tone
good.
deaf
Yeah,
of what it's trying to say. Like it's a movie
Yeah.
about a guy who hires a bunch of people who are seen as freaks, right? And then the minute it's
Yeah.
time to give them any sort of stage time, it's like actually the movie's over.
mm. It's like that '50s musical era, or like a lot of the musicals. You're like, yeah, but the songs are okay. Songs are pretty decent. But a lot of those musicals, you're just like, meh. Story is very weak here. They just needed Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly to run across the stage and do a dance number for 30 minutes.
Have you guys
You heard
rewatched
that line,
the
right? You heard that line, right? He's out of his mind. He's an out of work actor.
He's out of his mind. Oh, they make actors are insane.
have you guys rewatched Speed Racer anytime recently?
No, I
Nah.
need to though.
Dude, I'll tell you this right now. The other day I was watching, I actually watched it twice in a span of 2 nights, and it is spectacular. Like the
It's got
first
the
10 minutes of
juice.
it,
Oh
I
yeah.
was like,
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
if I like it that much. But so much of the Wachowskis were trying to say about like the studio system and like working for just like I guess money in the sense that like you want to make a movie about art.
Yeah.
Like why anything else? I mean, and this was like right off of the Matrix trilogy. It is so fucking good.
But see, that's my problem. It's like people are complaining about Matrix Revolutions. Like, do y'all not know who you're talking about? Like, who these artists are? And like, I found like the text of Matrix Revolutions is fantastic. So is Speed
Are you talking about
Racer.
Resurrections or actually Revolutions?
Oh, sorry, Resurrections. Or
That's what I figured because
yeah.
Revolutions isn't like that hated, but I also did like
Mhm.
Resurrections. A
Oh,
lot of people didn't like it though.
Revolutions is awesome fun.
I hadn't rewatched them since high school, so like I did a rewatch pretty recently before the fourth film dropped, and I was like watching them in the third movie. I was in tears. I was so into it. It's such a good movie.
Love it.
This is the
So this
greatest show.
so this actor, like when he was walking on this when he's walking on the stage there drunk, he was like mumbling Shakespeare because
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman, like to prepare for a lot of his roles, he'll just rehearse Shakespeare to get like his vocal cords going. So he was just pretending to be Hugh Jackman, like before that, like he was just mumbling Shakespeare lines. And then he's like,
Bro
"All
doing
right,
the
ready?"
revolving
When he
shot
has
over
to
here.
cut like into the scene, and he's just on cue. He's good. And then he's like, "All right, I can go back to my drink now."
I wonder how many days they shot for this one.
Nolan's very efficient, so you could honestly tell me like a pretty big number, and I'd be like, that makes sense. Or you could tell me like a really small number, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
I could see maybe like 30 to 50 days, maybe.
Because at the end of the day, yeah, Nolan is always coming in on budget or under budget, right?
Because all
Which
these
people
scenes, you're
don't, I don't
probably gonna
know,
film all at once, like all these stage
these
scenes.
like people need to understand that end of like Nolan, like business wise and just like work ethic wise, like he knows what he's doing and he always gets it done. $40
He's
million
the man in
budget
the
on this
suit,
one.
Vikash. He's the man in the suit. He's got to. As your famous
He's the
father once
man,
said, he's the man in the
Yes,
suit.
the director.
The
The
director in the
man.
suit, yeah.
He's the man in the gray flannel suit.
They actually I think A24 came out with a book about like directors and their
Yeah, their
wardrobes.
costumes, or like their wardrobes and their outfits.
Because
Yeah.
I follow this lovely woman, Remy Solomon, just amazing woman on TikTok, and she was talking about the book. I was like, yes, this is awesome.
Um it's from a page on Instagram. I think it's called like Director's Fits, but they collaborated with the guy that does that page, and they just released that book. It's pretty cool to see though. Also, A24 releasing two exclusive Blu-rays back to back, Love Lies Bleeding and The Zone of Interest.
I saw the Love Lies Bleeding cover. That it
Oh,
looks
I
dope.
picked it
I
up.
still
I
haven't
picked it
seen the
up.
picture yet.
I got it in the mail like 2 days ago. I did see it in theaters, and that was one that this year I remember thinking like, "Yo, hits!" Like that was a good movie. It's so cartoony, but it's so fun too.
I'm so bad with buying like A24 exclusives because I forget they exist, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's only on A24 stores. So
The thing with A24's
I do need to get
exclusives
it.
is that
Zone of Interest though.
I
I need to get
have
Zone of
all of
Interest.
them right now, so if I don't fall behind, like I'm going to be set. You know what I mean? Like as long as I
Oh
keep
Mhm.
up
yeah.
with any release. The only
Yeah, because
ones
they
I
just
don't
released.
have are the ones that are like the bigger ones. So like I have the midsummer one, but like all the ones that are like about the same size, I have all of
Mm,
those. So like I am
they
listening to
released the Talking Heads one, right?
yeah, so I don't got that one. I need to get it. The Last Black Man in San Francisco,
Mm.
The Green Knight I need to get.
Fantastic movie.
I do technically have the 4K for it, but I got like the one that they released initially.
Yeah, that's
So
what I have.
not their
Yeah,
collector's edition. And then I don't have
this
the
is a 50,
souvenir
60
part
day
two.
movie. They started
Wow,
January
so smart.
16th, ended filming on April 9th. That is efficient.
Yeah, you'd film all these grand scenes at the same time. You just change the setting every day, shoot it
Very
all
Yeah.
efficient.
night. All these interiors, like they've had many of these interiors behind stage, film those probably all over
There's a
4 or 5 days.
there are a lot of interiors in this movie. I think Nolan is pretty good about keeping it even for his movies, where it's like he
If he
takes them
wanted to,
outside
he could
enough.
probably like legitimately use the same set for every scene and just change around some of the dressing for it.
Hmm.
Just redress it every time in different scenes for different days. He could be using that same room for a week and maybe get 5 scenes out of it.
We don't talk about it. We haven't talked about it yet enough. Nathan Crowley, the guy who I always say he's a guy that sits in Nolan's garage. He and Nolan sit in Nolan's garage and think up these movies physically. He is his
Hmm.
production designer to this day. And, you know, this is also I think it's the first movie that Wally Pfister edited for him. I mean, Lee Smith edited for him too, and like he's got great collaborators, and they deliver. Like
Mm-hmm.
they know what he wants, and they facilitate for him. Whether it's this or like the miniatures on the Dark Knight, which we'll be watching next. Like
The
it looks
miniatures in the
great.
Dark Knight are so impressive because you don't even realize they're miniatures until you go back and like look at the special features and you're like, holy shit, that looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
I always assumed it was just CG, but it looks too
It's
good to be
it's
CG.
so impressive. And then there's like I think I mentioned it before, but the shots where they're like fighting in downtown Chicago, you can see signs that say Chicago. And it could have been so easy for them to like literally like just CG that out or even like cover it with something, but you're so invested in the movie, you just don't even realize that that's even there.
I think there's a Starbucks sign somewhere, which I noticed on
Yeah.
like the 15th watch because it's like, no, but that's the thing is like, what are you watching this movie for, right? It's like, are you
Yeah.
what is the detail you're looking for? If you're engaged within the narrative itself, which I am pretty much 99% of the time, then you don't notice that stuff.
Yeah, you don't really notice a whole lot of stuff when you're so engaged in a movie. I think it's whenever you're kind of like unengaged, we start to kind of like really notice things. Like we
You know that
watched,
that shot from the abyss that everyone's been like that
oh
lens
yeah,
wipe?
the
Mm-hmm.
the
In
the
the
hand over
light.
the. I never
Yeah.
noticed that the first time I watched it because you're so invested.
Exactly. Like it's genius work from like, AC or whoever is like, around the camera that did that.
You know what's funny though is
Well,
I
no.
did remember seeing that hand over the lens shot whenever I was like 17 or 18, and I saw it with a like the commentary on, and then I rewatched it again this year, and I forgot about it until someone posted it, and I rewatched it in theaters, not even thinking about it. I was like, oh, that shot is still there.
No, but
Yeah, I
like
mean,
I watched like the
even
first time you watch it, you won't notice.
Oh yeah,
That's the
yeah.
whole
Mhm.
point.
Yeah,
Like
like any movie, the more you watch this, you're gonna notice continuity errors. You're gonna see people in the background. You're gonna see stuff in the background. My
but I
my
don't
favorite
care.
my favorite like little goof of that is in Gladiator when he says, "Are you not entertained?" And
Yeah.
it cuts to a
No,
wide, and
no, no.
you can just see the camera guy. This guy standing in jeans just right there.
Bro.
But it's like it's
No,
for a second.
literally
It's for a second.
I
You
no
can't.
no no
If
no
you look for
literally
it, you're gonna see it.
I know what shot you're talking about, and every time I've seen the movie since, I try to find the guy. I still haven't found the guy, and it's been like
Really?
3 or 4 times.
All
No,
right.
because I
I'm
like,
gonna
like
send you a
I'm
photo
like
of
I'm so invested with it. I've seen the
it.
photo,
Mhm.
but like I don't like when I'm watching the movie. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it's coming up, and then I'm caring about Maximus too much. That's one of my
Mhm.
favorite movies.
Ridley Scott's too like advanced now to the point where he's doing like Napoleon and Gladiator, and he's got 8 cameras rolling at the same time to
Nine
just send these
cameras.
people out. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong here because it could be that Gladiator is going to be amazing, and I hope it is. You know, every part of me wants to think that Gladiator 2 is going to be just incredible. I love Paul Mescal, I love Denzel, I love everybody involved in the new movie. But when I watched Napoleon, I thought, yeah, he's got 8 cameras rolling at the same time, and that's really impressive. But maybe that's also what's holding this movie back because it doesn't feel like there's any
Enough
sense of
focus.
like enough
Mhm.
focus, either that or it's like there's too much focus, and then on top of that, it's maybe because
I
it's too clean
was
and too polished, it's not as impressive. But I could
the
be wrong.
Deacons. They had a Don Burgess on. Don and his shot. James Wan. He did most of uh what's his name? Bob Zemeckis' work.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
Don talks about, the work he does. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking exactly about, Ridley Scott, where it's like, yeah, if you're shooting A, B cam at most, or you're shooting single cam, you have a lot of focus as to what you're doing. But the philosophy typically is that like how like the more cameras you pull out, the less focus you're gonna have, the less you're gonna capture, in terms of depth. And
Mhm.
it's like when really hit, like Gladiator, like I said, one of my favorite movies, and the focus, just the narrative focus, just everything comes together so perfectly on that movie.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've
almost
seen a lot of people try to get to that, whether it's like Monkey Man or like even War for the Planet of the Apes, and they hit a good. Some of them hit a good marks, but they don't hit. Or even 1917 tries to hit you with like a Gladiator ending, but none of them hit like Gladiator.
I think it's almost like there's a level of where it's almost like it's too safe. Like if you have 2, 3 cameras, great, I get it. If you want to get one shot from multiple angles, that's great. But when you have 9 cameras rolling for a scene that has just a little bit of dialogue and it's nothing too crazy. Like, it's almost helpful to be a bit more restrictive.
I mean, I understand if you're shooting with 9 cameras and you're gonna be done with your day before lunch, like in that
Yeah.
sense, where it's
Mhm.
like you're
There's less
just so
variety in terms of takes
efficient.
too.
Yeah. And okay, I'm harping on it because I was literally just listening to him about like an hour ago. Daniel Kaluuya talking to the Deacons this week episode. Amazing conversation. But Daniel Kaluuya talks about how it's like every actor's different. Like some people they
Mhm.
want to rehearse the crap out of it. Daniel, he's like,
Mhm.
take one is my rehearsal. Like I don't try to, bust it in rehearsal or like try to think too hard about things. But it's like when I get to, take one, then I know what I'm doing in the first place. But like if I really need to adjust, I'll get another shot.
Hmm.
Whenever he fell and he looked at him, he was like, "I'm gonna throw some dirt in your eye."
Yeah.
He legit was like, he was like legit, like, "I'm gonna throw some dirt in your eye, dude."
I think
What a G.
Christian Bale he has this charisma to him that he doesn't explore enough. Like he always
Mhm.
wants to be serious in a lot of movies. But I was just talking about Ford versus Ferrari. Like he is so charismatic in that movie. It's like be like he's even then he's playing a guy who's kind of a brute, but he needs to play more charismatic roles. I know he doesn't like it, but because it's almost easy for him, but it's like
Mhm.
we like to see him be charismatic. Like
Oh yeah.
10-minute
Like
roles,
that whole scene right there with him coming out of the door.
just yeah, it's fantastic.
She likes the other twin, dude. God, do you understand?
It's the greatest con that
I
ever
love
lived.
this. I love this madness because like it's almost like scientific. It's like you could see
Mhm.
this could be like a scientist, this could be an artist, this could be a
Yeah,
magician, this could be
You could
like the
honestly
the
replace
f-
this with anything.
and he's
Like,
working
this
with
is
like Tesla.
exactly
again
and
kind
like
of
the
that, like,
exactly.
reciprocation of like Oppenheimer and Strauss. Like, it's almost the
Mhm.
exact same movie with just different like approaches. It's yeah, it's impressive.
But like thematically, it's just relative to us. At least for me, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we all kind of
There's
strive to be someone that we all
we
look up
strive for
to.
greatness.
We
Yeah, it's
strive for
like
greatness in some aspect.
we're
We
trying
all
to figure it
strive.
out.
We all strive to be a magician.
Have you guys seen that clip of who is it, Bobby Altoff, where she's on her podcast and she's talking to somebody? She's like, "But you're a musician," and she's like, "No, I make music," and it's just like back and forth for like a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, "I don't
You're
do
a
Yeah,
musician. He's
that."
like, yeah. Thinking she's
not
saying
to
a
be a hater,
magician.
but something's wrong about that woman. I'll tell. Like the vibe is off.
I don't love her, but she's got
I
some
think it's a
clips every now and then I think it's so
I
funny.
think it's like a bit, no? Like
I think it's
No,
a
no,
it's
no.
like
bit.
It's a
it's too
bit, but I'm
much. It's
talking
like a
about just
bit.
like because I
It's a
followed her for many years. Because she's just funny. She would be calling her kid like concrete as a joke, but like
the whole thing is she's like super like blunt and like kind of rude. It's so funny.
I'm gonna send you all clips of Doom 3 now. I have to.
The professor.
The Professor and the Madman?
What? Rebecca Hall? Whoa. Isn't she in that? No, I'm thinking
Maybe.
of well, yeah, wasn't it the guy it was about like the guy the two like couple that created Wonder Woman?
Oh, Professor Marston.
Marsden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something.
It's like The
Marston.
Martian and the
Yeah,
Wonder Woman is what it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
something
a
like
weird
that.
movie.
I was close. I was close.
You're close enough, yeah.
Close enough.
Too many Professor Day movies.
Too many professors.
The only professor I look to is Professor X.
Charles Xavier.
Xavier. I was just like I said, I just watched Logan and Patrick Stewart, man. That man needs to act
I
more if he can.
I don't know what day I got an invite to a screening for a
Definitely
new
Wolverine.
X-Men movie coming out, yeah. And I don't know what day it is, but I remember
What?
thinking like I don't know if I want to go, but I know that if I go see it before everybody else, it'll break everybody.
New X-Men movie?
The Deadpool Wolverine.
Did it just say
Oh,
Untitled X-Men movie?
Untitled X-Men movie,
I
yeah.
wonder what
Like I'm
this
gonna be
is.
such a dick about it and go to it, take a picture of the screen and be like, at the new X-Men movie, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Like just to
no,
make
no,
sure
no. Go
everybody
see
gets
it.
crushed.
Go see it. I need the insider information. I'm shooting a pot on Friday
Yeah.
about whatever Logan.
The
Text
minute
me.
I get out of that theater, I will text both of you with spoilers. I'm gonna be like,
Text.
yo.
Honestly, do
Honestly,
it because
do it.
I don't even really care
Like
that
I
much
don't care.
anymore
I
about
don't care
spoilers.
either.
I want to know who's in it. Let me know who's in it.
I think my biggest thing with those movies right now is that like I don't really care about them that much anymore. And I don't really care that much
Yeah.
about most movies, but I care about having things spoiled for me, even if I don't care about the movie
Mm.
that much.
See, I understand if it's like some sort of thing where it's like Interstellar and the man literally, comes out of a tomb in the middle of the
Mhm.
movie and you didn't expect it.
Oh, like Matt
And
Damon. Yeah, like that's such a
yeah,
smart move. Like them not saying anything about him even being in the movie.
but
Same thing with
but
like Oppenheimer. They kind of did that too.
my whole point is like that feels crucial and you're really blown away by that. That's why I was pissed that, people were like, "Oh, Anya Taylor-Joy is in Dune,"
Dude,
which
that's
like
one that I remember thinking like the
I
day
forgot
that
about
it
it in the
premiered in
movie
Mexico, that shit was everywhere. And I was like, I am
everywhere.
so freaking mad. And I was like, there's a good chance it's not true. I just gotta calm down. I was like, it could just be people online talking shit. And then that she was at the premiere, and I was like, you guys suck, dude. Like, you guys
So
couldn't have
obvious.
kept her like out of this.
But I mean, like when I'm watching the movie, typically I forget about everything because I'm following the narrative. And by
Mm.
the time, we see Aaliyah, I'm like, oh wait, that's her. That's her. That has to be her. And then I like,
I was so
I still get
convinced
the
with
same
all of the
reaction.
trailers that they weren't showing Aaliyah because that it was gonna be like an infant child and that it was gonna be like a
Yeah,
baby.
it's
Like
gonna be creepy.
I
Yeah.
thought it's gonna be just like the book, and he doesn't want to scare audiences, but he got to do it for the movie, you know?
Honestly, the whole fetus thing,
Yeah.
a bit too pro-lifer, but like it worked.
I think he played it really safe. That's why I think audiences really rocked with it. Like if he did go with the infant thing, I still think it could have worked, but I think he was probably pressured by the studio to not do that.
Speaking of spoilers, were you spoiled on this movie? Younger about the ending?
No,
Never,
I actually didn't get
never.
to I didn't watch this until I was about 12 or 13 years old. Like that was the first time I watched this one.
Like
So by the time there was
I knew the
anything to
Sixth
spoil
Sense
anything,
thing. Like I knew the Sixth
I was
Sense ending
13 or
before
14.
oh yeah,
I
the
even
Sixth
watched
Sense.
it.
Dude, when I went to go see The Watcher at the theater, we walked out and I was like not terribly impressed, but I did make a joke about Bruce Willis being dead the entire time. And a younger kid, like there was a younger employee there and then an older one, and I said it like out loud, and the older guy laughed so hard, and the younger girl was like, I don't get it.
What?
Like
Yeah,
I was walking out of The
don't even
Watcher, I
gotta
literally
tell her.
said, what did I say? I said, dude, Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. What the hell? It was
One
too
of my
good.
favorite one of my favorites was when we saw Split. I was like the only one. I saw it with my cousin out here.
Yeah,
I was the only one that I
Unbreakable.
was the only one I was the only one that got the ending because I heard their Unbreakable music and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, wait, oh shit. And then it
At
ended and
my
you see the Bruce
screening,
Willis
People
scene.
didn't get
And
that.
then as I was leaving, the guy in front of us goes, why was Bruce Willis in that movie? Like, and I was
Oh
just
at
like,
my.
the screening that I was at, like it was one of the big auditoriums. So we were like walking out, and that scene comes up. So like everybody on the staircase just like stops. And then
yeah.
that guy, Bruce Willis, shows up, and someone in the audience was just like, Mr. Glass, like just straight up yelled it. Like it was so funny.
That's great.
But see, that's what I mean by like theater experience. Like if the enthusiasm is warranted to the screen, then I like it.
It
But
was also like the end
if
of
it's
the movie,
rhetorical,
so I
that
didn't
kind of
care.
sucks.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about like I was watching Creed 2 and there's a character that passes in that movie and someone is like narrating the death where it's like, "Oh no, they ain't about to die. They ain't about to die. No way, no way." It's like, "Can y'all calm down? Like I understand. Be emotional, but not in these tender moments. Come on, y'all."
I think back to the whole thing with I think spoilers online. I don't care that much about a movie being spoiled, but also I don't know if I've shared this sentiment with either of you, but I don't like watching movies when they're super popular after they've been become popular because then I think it makes my opinion of it like either very influenced and it makes me not appreciate it as much. Like I didn't watch Squid Game when it first released, and I waited like a year to watch it. And after I watched it, I was like, okay, so that
Yeah.
was really good, but the last episode kind of sucked. But everybody was on it like crazy.
See, that's why I agree. I like to have sober experiences.
Like I don't like to watch something when it's super popular. Like if I watch it before it gets popular, that's a different thing because then it's my opinion. I don't feel like it's been influenced by everybody else. But when everybody's like, "Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
this is the best thing ever," and you watch and it's just like, well, you think it's the best thing ever because it's the one thing you watched this year that's kind of good.
Like that's my problem with like film Twitter is people like watch new movies so fast.
It's insane.
And, you,
Like the
and you're
minute that
like,
it
damn, the
drops,
movie
there's
came out 30 minutes
everywhere.
ago. The movie came out 30 minutes ago, and there's already 1,000 reviews. People are like, I've already seen the movie. It's like, geez, like I used to always see like the new movie on Thursday nights, and now I'm like Bike Riders coming out this week. I'll watch it on Monday when no one's in the theater. I'll go on Monday.
Yeah, y'all,
Like,
like I said, y'all enjoy it. Like, I mean, when it comes to any new movie like that, I wait. Besides, like, Furiosa, I didn't wait because that's like,
mhm.
George Miller. Like, I
Yeah,
need that
that
in
didn't
my
wait forever
mind right
either.
away.
Yeah,
But it's been 3 weeks or whatever, and or 4 weeks. I'm going to go see it tomorrow again.
I got an invite to go see it yesterday at the Terra and missed it because I was just so busy like deep cleaning our apartment. It just flew by us.
Yeah,
But I think
I
with
can't wait.
movies
I
like the Black
cannot
Raiders,
wait
it's
to
kind of
watch it
different
again.
too. Because it's
I
been through
mean,
the festival
yeah,
circuit, so you kind of know that it's already been watched. A lot of people already have opinions on it. Same thing with like I think whenever it's some movie like Furiosa where it's like the week before, it doesn't count for me. Like I'm like, it doesn't count. Like it's you saw it at festival, great. You got to see it early.
yeah,
I think it's whenever it's
and
the greater majority of like everybody saying it, that's a different story. Like, can you imagine being somebody in this universe, like going to see this guy do this trick and being like, yo, this is the greatest trick ever, and then going to see it and you're like, it's
yeah.
fine. It's fine. Yeah, like I saw the other guy do it.
yeah, yeah.
Dan
Seen better.
Dante did it better. Dante did better.
Either Larry David, like, eh.
Eh, it's fine.
Larry David is like he's one of my spirit animals. It's him and like Aang from Avatar. Like there's no middle ground for me. I'm either that kid or like I'm really disappointed with y'all.
Um, Shyamalan, back to Last Airbender. Funny we keep coming back to him. Y'all think Trap?
We're having
Yeah.
some technical difficulties, but we will continue.
Yeah. This I like that they shot this. We haven't talked about it yet. They did shoot this on backlot for the outside scenes, but it doesn't feel like backlot
Mhm.
in a good way. Like it's very easy to make something look backlot, but I think the way you put it, the approach shooting it and how they dress it, it looks fantastic.
And a lot of the scenes with Scarlett Johansson and both of them are all lit very warmly,
Yeah,
as opposed to like all the other scenes, especially when he's with Tesla. It's like so cold.
it's bluer
Mhm.
and but I think it's also, I mean, there's only one warm shot when he's getting off the train, and you see like the Colorado Springs sign and you see like the mountains in the back. It's a bit warm, but besides that, it's not warm at all. But like I said, this movie, it has a lot of narration, but he plays it correctly.
Mhm.
And I don't know how they wrote this script, but it feels like you're reading a book and it's unfolding within those,
Yeah.
those characters' perspectives.
It's like almost each scene is almost a different time. Like a book would be like each chapter is a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like he becomes like an Edison as opposed
Yeah.
to a Tesla. He's wait, is a ring in there? Did you know that all the main characters' names, all their initials spell out Abra?
Bro, I hate when people do that. I hate when people do that. I know Nolan. I know both the Nolan brothers didn't sit there and they're like, ooh, Abra, this would be so funny. No, they didn't. It's coincidental
Yeah.
and it's awesome. But like, come on, y'all, please.
So if I were like, oh, well, that's convenient. Someone probably pointed it out to them. Oh, didn't know that. Thank you.
And this movie does start to veer into sci-fi a bit, doesn't it? Because it does
Yeah.
end up being you know, clones essentially, right?
Hmm.
But this is the sort of thing I like where it's like, yeah, it's pretty much it's kind of based in logic, but it kind of really isn't. But that's what movies are, right?
My
They're
cat right
supposed
there.
to be logical, but it's almost fake logical.
It has to be logical in the world that it's in.
Exactly. Internal consistency, internal logic.
Hmm.
Yeah, you see how
Well,
I
even
just disappeared there and came back like that
Yeah,
trick in the
came back.
movie.
Wow. Wait, you're doing an actual performance for us. You were disappearing and coming back.
That was a good that was a good comeback though, low key. Like I the way I brought it back. You guys weren't paying
Were,
attention. The trick was happening right in front of you the whole
Yeah.
time.
It was the greatest magic trick I've ever seen.
were you
I
watching?
don't know if
Were you
I was
paying
not watching
attention?
closely. I was not watching
I don't
closely.
know if I don't know if you guys filled in the listeners. My computer crashed for a second. Don't know what happened.
That happened to me recently while shooting a pod and it was stressful. Like literally everything logged off. Not even like it literally was like no exception error. I was like, I know my computer doesn't need to be doing this, but I will never switch to a Mac. Windows, ride or
My
die.
computer is just old. I have two computers I work with right now. So I'm working with this Mac from like 2019 and I'm working with my Mac Mini in my office, but that one's stationary, so that one does not move.
I always found this scene kind of weird.
I love
I always found
this. I love
this
this.
kind of weird. Like, wouldn't like he didn't really walk that far away from the building. Like, wouldn't someone have noticed all the hats down there? Like,
Yeah.
they didn't
You out
really
for a
go that
smoke. You're like,
far.
there's a shit ton of hats out here.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here they all are. Yo, David, down here. Found them.
Did anyone even bother to look? It's kind
Yeah,
of
seriously.
like no one even thought about like going outside.
Andy Circus is not doing his job.
Arguably best cast movie for women for Nolan? Question mark. I'm not saying
Mm,
the trailers are perfect, but
I'm trying to
like
think. I
the back.
mean,
Like more for them to do besides like Emily Blunt in
I mean,
Oppenheimer.
Blunt is very new, so I don't
Hmm.
really count Oppenheimer within the realm yet. But like, he's getting better. He got better with Becky. He got better with Blunt. I assume the next one he'll get better.
Yeah, he needs to have a female lead for the
I
entire
don't.
movie.
I don't know if he has it in him. If I was him, I would literally just put, DeBecky in a suit and make it run. It would be amazing. Like, think about it. No, think legitimately. Think
Mhm.
about it. 6 foot suit. It'd be awesome.
she's six
There's a
two. Wait, is it 6'3"?
six.
I think she's 6'3". Yeah.
The video of Viola Davis saying Elizabeth Debicki is 6'3". I tried to find that video so I
Widows.
could show my girlfriend right before we watched
Widows,
Widows,
man.
and I was like, I can't find it anywhere.
It's our modern heat for anybody. I don't know. I love that movie. I love Widows.
Widows is awesome. No one watched it either. Another unfortunate
Yeah.
like commercial.
I dragged
Actually, it
like
might
four
have
of my
made money,
friends
but I
to
don't
it.
think I talked to anybody to seen it.
I dragged everyone to go see it, and then everyone was like, "Oh, that's pretty good," and I was like, We just watched cinema. What do you mean it was pretty good?
I think I showed this movie to my grandfather like way back in maybe like 2008 or 9. And when he watches a movie, he never says anything. He'll sit and watch the whole thing. He doesn't move. And then it'll end and he'll go, I don't get it. And he just like gets up and leaves. He literally said, I don't get it. He was just like, whatever. He just like gets up and leaves.
When I went to go see Bo's Afraid, there was someone in the audience that like immediately when the movie was over, like audibly
Oh
said,
no.
like, I didn't get that. Like, what the fuck was
Oh
that?
no.
And I was like just sitting there like that was awesome.
Imagine it was someone who wasn't even ready for it. That's a crazy movie right there.
You know what's crazy though is that I think I got to see it like the week before it came out. And so I thought everybody who is at the screening like surely knows what they're getting into. And I don't think anybody did because
Really?
I was very prepped for it. I was very excited for it. I think everybody was expecting another Hereditary or Midsummer, like another kind of subversive horror film of its time. And the minute
Mhm.
it started, it was like there was this weird tension in the audience. Like nobody wanted
But
to laugh. And I thought it was
but the
hilarious. So I started
trailer
laughing right off the bat.
but the trailer was the trailer was indicative. You
I
wasn't,
don't know what people were
leaving.
expecting. I think people were expecting a horror movie because I talked to my girlfriend after it was over, and she also thought it was gonna be like a horror like drama that
Oh,
was kind
okay.
of being marketed kind of weird. And I don't know, like I was fully prepared for it to be a comedy, like just a dark comedy, and I loved it. But yeah, a good portion of the audience left like halfway through, and then I don't think Pat's seen it yet. But have you seen it, Vikash?
I've seen about 90 minutes. I need to finish it. It's kind of blasphemous that I didn't
So
finish the
Yeah,
movie,
I
but
haven't I
the
haven't seen
if
it
you
yet.
I
got 90
really
minutes, if
of
you got to 90% in, I feel like you probably know exactly what scene I'm talking about. But there's a scene towards the end in an attic that, like, the minute that it happened, like a good portion of the
yeah.
audience
Yeah.
left.
I know
And
what you're
it's
talking
like
about.
you've sat through 2 hours and 30 minutes of this movie. You can't do 20 more. Like,
Wait, no, I think I finished the movie. No, actually I finished the movie because I think I watched 30 minutes like just sitting there on accident. Like that's how good it was. The movie pulls
it's
you in.
crazy. Like, I'd say that a movie like Bo is like maybe one of the only ones that actually is able to pull off like this ensemble, like crazy, ambitious story that like few directors wish that they could pull off.
I feel like the more I watch
The third
Nolan
act of
movies,
this movie is crazy.
like besides Begins and Dark Knight Rises, because everyone always has the Dark Knight like at the top. I think the more I watch his movies, the more the Dark Knight just goes down for me.
I feel that way, and then I rewatched The
That might
Dark
be a
Knight and it goes all the
controversial
way back
take.
up. Like
That might be a
it's
controversial
always
take. I'm not saying Dark Knight is 5 out of 5. I'm not saying it's not. I'm
No,
just saying it's
no,
there's
no.
like
My thing
four
is
other
that
movies I think are better than
I
the Dark Knight.
understand. I understand the sentiment, and I understand for everybody to say,
And this is one of them.
five of those movies are better, and I agree. But my favorite is always going to be The Dark Knight. It's just
but
my
okay,
that's my
but
movie.
counter with I think Pat is also kind of dealing with that same sentiment that I was talking about when I say that like everything being so overhyped for one specific
Mm,
movie. It's like,
Yeah,
yes, we are
yeah,
aware that it is a 5 out of 5, but when everybody's talking about this movie, it makes you want to put it down lower because it's
mhm.
almost like, yes, this is a really good movie, but this other movie is also really good and no one's talking about it. So
Yeah.
I
you
I
value
side
that
with
one
you
more.
there, Pat, a little bit. I value that sentiment a little bit more, I think. But
Also,
I
because I
I'm
think I
think
used to
not saying you're
watch
right.
the Dark
I
Knight
th-
like all the time, like in high school. And I think I just got to a point where I like knew like all the dialogue and I was like, I can't watch this movie right now. So like I put it away
oh,
for a long
I
time.
don't think I don't think I got sick of the movie. I just stopped watching it because it's
Mhm.
I did
like you
too.
said, like it's in my fibers, it's in my DNA, it's in my
Yeah.
RNA,
Like
it's
I'm
epigenetically
sure
interspersed within my soul now. But even then, I still love that movie. Like if I turned it on right now, like
oh
we're
yeah,
gonna get hyped, you know?
I'm sure when we would do the podcast, I'd be like, wait, yeah, this is fucking great. 5 out of 5, best film. Like I'm sure we'll do
But
that.
I think we started with Nolan for a reason. Is that he hits every movie he hits.
Mm.
This is a hit, right? You understand why people say this is their favorite movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why India, Bollywood ripped this off.
They know it has the juice.
It has, and it's this, emotional relevancy.
Yeah, honestly, this is probably most female driven movie. And that's
It
not
sounds so backhanded.
that
Okay,
I
I
know.
do have a
It's
hot
like
take about Emily Blunt's performance in Oppenheimer. Like people are acting like it's like the hottest thing they've ever seen from her. That's
you say
she's
Edge
done
of
better
Tomorrow's
work.
yours.
She's amazing, and like that was like, she was acting with her pinky. Like she could do so much
Mhm.
more. She's
I
amazing.
agree with that though. She's awesome in
Like,
the
have y'all
fact
not
that like
seen A
I agree
Quiet
with you. Like
Place? Like the third act of The Quiet Place, like when she gets a nail in her foot.
you
Like, are
see,
you
you're
kidding
saying
me?
Quiet Place, and I'm thinking Devil Wears Prada, bro. You're
Yes,
not the
yes,
same
yes.
person.
No, no, no. Devil Wears Prada. No, ask
I'm
Pat. We
thinking
were talking about
Sunshine
Devil Wears
Game.
Prada recently.
No,
Wait, what?
she's a
Oh,
great actress, honestly. Edge of Tomorrow also is just so
Yeah,
like
Edge of
she
Tomorrow.
fucking like the fact that she's in it and Tom Cruise is in it and she steals the show is such a it's a magic trick in itself. Like
but see, my
impressive.
thing is, that's why I say like it's Furiosa. It's her in that movie. It's Sarah Connor, Ripley. Like there's a very strong like those women. Okay,
Mhm. He's not helping
yo,
himself
is
with the women aspect of it.
I swear, whoever's watching this, they probably got a good laugh out of that. But like that was horrifying.
We're sitting here talking about
I
like women in film, and then suddenly she's just hanging.
No, that's what I do agree with the criticism that he receives for not having women in lead roles. And it's pretty obvious now that we're
or
doing the rewatch. He really doesn't.
it's not it, it's not even just like lead roles. It's just it's almost
It's like even the
like
women that he
the
writes in like
value.
supporting roles are all the same. They all have the
Yeah.
same type of value. Yes, that's a very good
Mhm.
point,
No,
Vikash.
I mean,
they serve a
one just committed suicide.
utility. They serve
Yeah.
utility to the narrative of the main
Yeah.
characters rather than being their own characters, which I
Mhm.
mean, it happens in The Dark Knight. And but I think what Maggie does with her last 10 seconds on screen is amazing.
Mhm.
And no one can take that from her. I think that's still the one of the greatest things she's done. I think same thing goes for Aaron Eckhart. Besides like Be Kind and
I'm
Yeah.
Rewind.
surprised that Aaron Eckhart didn't blow up after The Dark Knight. I Frankenstein.
uh
What was that?
His face did.
yeah.
No one got my Two-Face joke. It's okay.
No, I got it.
I
It's
didn't hear the
just
joke. I was too invested
no,
for a
no.
second.
I was gonna say something, but I didn't want to shit talk, so
Who said he blew up when I said his face did? So
I was okay. That's pretty good. I was too invested in the movie. That's why I missed.
this guy has a face where he's about to like no, like he's like no. He looks like he's about to
I'm about to
always
fuck
bring
this whole
bad
thing up.
news.
I'm still surprised this movie's rated PG-13. I think Nolan always rides the line well.
I mean, the showing a suicide like that, especially with a wide too, like that can get you an
But
R.
the
I think it
lingering of
kind of
the shot.
depends on like the
If you actually
audience that's
show them,
intended because
mm, you only
when
see
you
the
think about a
aftermath
movie
of it
like
if
that,
you're actually doing it to herself.
yeah. I kind of said the same thing about with a coworker about unfortunately a David O. Russell movie, Joy. It's a movie that has an F bomb in it. I think it has two
Mhm.
actually. I could be wrong, but has two F bombs in it, and it's the only reason that it's rated
Uh,
PG-13. But like
real quick.
it got away with it because I think it's one of those movies where like the intended audience is an adult. Like it's made for adults. Like it really is. Like you're not gonna see kids trying to sneak into a PG-13 movie about a woman who's trying to make like a magical mop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of the same
uh
thing with this. Like you don't
so
have a lot
he
of kids
kills
trying to go
himself,
see
right?
this.
Like he teleports and then he kills a version of himself essentially.
hmm I think this is where my grandfather started to be like, I don't know what's going on now. There's like
No, no, I'm just clarifying. Because it's been a minute since I've seen this movie. Actually, it hasn't been a minute.
So
It's been like 3
essentially,
years.
he keeps killing himself essentially, and like when they go down at the end, you see all of the dead.
I love that. That's like the best part of this. Not the best part of this movie, but I think Nolan really knows how to pull off his third acts in the best way possible. Like,
Well, it's almost
think
to a
about
point.
it.
It's like he's gotten so he just wants to beat Christian Bale so bad that he'll
Yeah,
kill himself to do it. He'll kill himself
which is
every night to do the
which
greatest magic trick.
think about it, like just as a theme, like thematically, just the the chase of excess, like the chase of success, and
Mm-hmm.
how far are you willing to go to sell your soul or quite literally murder your soul
Yeah, and that's what the end scene when it's obviously revealed
in
that
the tank. Yeah,
and he even speaks to him like we'll get there. I won't bring it up now.
yeah,
We'll get
yeah.
there.
My bad.
But he even it's like you just see how Hugh Jackman becomes like essentially like I said, like a Thomas Edison, where it's like nothing's enough. He has to be the best.
I just love that Thomas Edison's name's being
We're
used in a
ripping Edison.
derogatory manner.
Edison, yeah, Thomas Edison, Paul Revere, pull up outside. I got some things to say.
I'm gonna pull up in my Tesla minus Elon Musk.
Got some things to say.
How crazy if there's like a post-credit scene in this and Elon Musk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
I would
Hitler
hate
and
it.
the fucking King's
This
Man.
Doing
movie,
his dance on the
this
stage
movie
the
would
other
be a
week.
0.
Yeah.
This movie would be a 0 if that happened.
Me and
They
Pat were
they
talking
open up
about it,
the
but the post-credit scene at the end of the King's Man with Hitler showing
Dude,
up, where he's
I
like,
I
started
hate that.
cracking me up. I
it's
started
so
cracking.
insane. Like, how did Matthew
What?
Vaughn think like this is cooking? Like, this is
Yeah.
great.
No.
We're
You,
cooking
you
with
know where
juice
you know where
here.
he fumbled with the movie. Fundamentally, where he fumbled with the movie was he had a fantastic actor and just straight kills him in the middle of the movie.
The Rasputin.
Uh, what's his name?
I
I
did
forgot his
not
name.
like the third
He,
movie. I didn't like the second
Harris
movie either.
Dickinson. Harris
Yeah,
Dickinson,
I mean,
fantastic
yeah.
actor.
I
Then they
think
had
Like,
great actor, but ever
Reese
since he did the
Ifans
first
from House of the
Kingsman,
Dragon.
ever since he
yeah,
did the
Matthew
first
Vaughn's
Kingsman
fallen
movie,
off.
he's been chasing that success of the first one and just trying to redo that first movie. And it's just every time has been like almost a like painful attempt to watch. Like especially Argyle, dude. Argyle's terrible.
I haven't seen it.
I have
I'm
a
not
hot
going to
take.
subject myself to it.
I have a
We
hot
were
take on
when we
Matthew
were
Vaughn.
on our let's hear the take. Let's hear the take.
I think I've told it to you guys before, but Guy Ritchie makes the movies that
Guy
Matthew
Ritchie.
Vaughn wants to make.
Yeah.
Even then, Guy Ritchie's also fallen off, I think.
Yeah. But his movies I still enjoy more than like I enjoyed
Yeah,
the new
yeah.
one. I
Wrath of Man.
forget what the name is. No, the one with Henry Cavill that came out. I forget what the name is
Oh, I
'cause it's
haven't
too
seen it
damn
yet.
long.
Oh,
But
Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah. But I had a good time. Like not
I think
the greatest movie I've ever seen in the world,
unfortunately,
but
like
better than Argyle.
we were talking about Argyle and Madam Web on the way to see Tenet, funny enough, and we were discussing it there, and someone was saying like, "What's a worse movie, like Argyle or Madam Web?" And I was like, honestly, Argyle, because Argyle like legitimately thinks it's good, and Madam Web is like
Mhm.
so over the top goofy, like
Like
it knows it's so bad that it
No,
doesn't
but
try
that's the
to be
problem.
anything more.
That's the problem. Being pretentious is not going to get you anywhere.
Mhm.
Argyle, like, I don't know what it is, dude. It has this sort of mentality that like thinks it's fooling the audience the entire time, like 3 times, and it's insanely hard to sit through.
But therein lies the rub, right? I mean, Daniel Kaluuya was talking about how he was 25 and Denis Villeneuve took a shot on him, put him in Sicario, and it's
Mhm.
like that guy knows what he's doing. Nolan, look at this. He knows what he's doing. But it's
Sicario's
like
so damn good too.
It's interesting.
it's like
Like
every decision matters.
on this rewatch too, like Rebecca Hall's character like killed herself,
Mhm.
but he's killing himself every night. But the audience, you're just like, you know that he's killing himself every night at the end, and you're like, wow, like
Two
this
different
doesn't have the
dynamics.
same, yeah, that's different dynamics of committing suicide. One is committing suicide because essentially her like family life and her love is just it's not there because he's playing the double person. This is his brother, and this other guy's killing himself just for fame. Hollywood, baby. Killing yourself for fame. I just noticed that it was interesting.
Themes, man.
I don't know, bro. Go look.
Literally drowns himself every night. And you know what? This is also the penance, right? The penance of the death that Piper Julia got in this movie, right?
Full circle,
It's
essentially.
torturous. It's torturous.
Have you guys? Every time I see him in this movie too, like he looks just like he does in Empire of the Sun.
He looks like there's this other
Nice.
movie
My skin is
from the
Spielberg
early
reference.
2000s. Yeah. But Empire of the Sun is fantastic.
Empire of the Sun is so damn good, dude. It's hard to find that on
Underrated.
Blu-ray too.
Steven
Like
Spielberg.
I've never seen it on Blu-ray, and every time that I tell myself like I'm going to pick it up if I see it, it's going on eBay for like $100 too. It sucks. It's like, why is everything like this?
Really?
I paid
Jeez.
$60 for
What?
Speed Racer the other night on Blu-ray. A sealed copy, by the way.
Really? Is it the
Jeez.
digibook? Because I had the digibook of Empire of the Sun.
No. Oh yeah, it's the Digibook. That one's for like $100. I've seen it kind of go up and down.
Nice.
Same thing with like the Social Network. It tends to like waver every now and then.
I think I got that Empire of the Sun Blu-ray for $10 when it
You
first came out.
see, I fucking hate that shit. Like, why am I paying $100 for it? Why am I paying $60 for
Spielberg, I
Speed
gotta
Racer on
get it.
Blu-ray?
If they release a 1941 Blu-ray, I'm sure I'll buy it, even though I don't really like the movie that much.
There's a new
It's
Spielberg.
it's just
there's
it's
a
hard
new
to explain to
Spielberg
people too,
book
like how
coming
much
out.
a movie. Oh yeah, who
Speaking
just
of
got
Emily
cast
Blunt,
in it too?
Emily Blunt is
just got
circling.
cast actually. Yeah,
Speaking of,
In what?
or she's circling the role in Spielberg's next
For
movie.
what?
Emily Blunt.
Oh,
Spielberg's
I
UFO
mean,
movie.
but I mean that makes sense. I mean, think about it, Looper. I mean, Edge of Tomorrow. She's got a sci-fi bone in her that I think she can really flex.
the bloody act, you fool.
okay, so I found a copy of it. It's not at a bad price actually. Out of print,
Damn, I didn't know
Digibook
it was
for
out of print.
45.
Didn't
It's
know
been
it was
out of
out of
print for
print.
a while. For 45. You know what?
It's not
I'm
bad.
pulling the trigger on this. This is a good movie. You heard it here live on the pod, folks.
A live Blu-ray purchase.
It's happening. It's happening. We are getting it.
And of course, they stick the blind guy down there because he can't see him killing himself every night. Crazy man. I mean, this is basically Hollywood now. You kill yourself to become famous.
It's the Illuminati. It's part of the what is that called? Like the shame thing,
What?
whatever, like the shame ritual.
I'd say it's what happened with the Whale with Brendan Fraser. How far are you willing to go to get an Oscar? A bit too far, in my opinion.
I feel like it did some good for his career. He's kind of getting more roles now. Like he came back and everybody kind of loved him for it.
Wait, I love the man, but I hated that movie.
That's again another movie of Darren Aronofsky's that kind of I think we talked about it once, but like very much touches on like religion and faith and those kind of themes, even though he's himself like I believe atheist or an agnostic. I don't know what he is.
I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious that you know what? I'm not even gonna get into that. This is not the time for that conversation.
What I love about that scene, though, it's like even Christian Bale there. It's like he obviously doesn't want to see him like dead, you know.
Yeah, no.
There's
He doesn't
like a
go that
healthiness to the
Yeah, he doesn't go that
for
far.
him.
to
It's
be
almost like
I want him to
the
be dead. Yeah,
he likes the competition kind of like he
Mhm.
sees
They're
it as like a very
brothers.
much like a
They're
kind of the
brothers.
Joker and Batman too. Like the relationship they have is like they feed off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not to the same extent, maybe not to the same energies, but the same kind of concept. It's like without one or the other, it's they kind of feel meaningless.
The only time I always kind of laugh at the very end of this movie when it ends, and then basically Radiohead starts playing.
Yeah, that's just
Like, why
that's
is this the
Nolan.
end credits song?
Radiohead is like
Nolan was
notorious
trying to
for
make
having
his
like some of the most like random movies to be in
Random
end
ass.
credits. Like Twilight. What the hell was that?
but Nolan loves Radiohead. I'm sure
Yeah.
Catherine Hardwicke loves Radiohead too.
Mm. I mean, he doesn't love Radiohead. So.
I mean, like
I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny that it just ends and
my choice of
Radiohead
end credit
songs.
song would be crazier than that. It'd be
The plan.
no. It'd be
Say the
some Indian
plan.
songs. This man said
The Tenet Travis
friggin-
Scott song. Low key though, that song does kind of hit. Like
That
I
sounds
didn't
great.
love Echo Drift, but there was something about Travis Scott being in it that I was like kind of interesting to think about. Like, why would he want to do this movie? Then I thought I was like, it's because it just looks so fucking cool.
I would have put 21 Savage in it.
I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in the last episode too, but I still cannot stop thinking about Echo Drift.
This is so sad, man.
Damn. Interesting. In 10 minutes he'll do like the same type of reveal, but opposite. It's a twin brother. I like how even the design of him. They make his hair like even starting to point out a little more, like he's
Yeah.
turning into like a devil
Wolverine.
kind of. Yeah, like, yeah, he's turning into Wolverine.
My bad.
This is
I'm
Zork's
projecting.
story.
There's a post-credit scene at the end of this where he like opens up a suit and you just see the fucking cowl. Like
The
Oh,
post
yeah.
credit scene is, what do you want your new name to be? He's your magician. He's like
This
the Wolverine.
like what do you want your
Wolverine.
magician name to be? The Wolverine. That's
The
the movie
Wolverine.
ends
all you
right
see
there.
all you see is
Radiohead.
he just walks out
Yeah, the Radiohead
smoking a
starts.
cigar.
Yeah.
He walks out of the cigar in a tank top.
I still can't believe, like, I think about that Inside Out, like, trailer that played before where he's just cursing and looking at the audience.
That's hilarious.
There
But
was a
it's bleeped out,
grandfather
right?
there with his young man.
That
or
was a
with
red
with
band,
his young
right?
kid. It was a red band trailer,
it's-
so it is bleeped out, but I mean,
Yeah,
even
that's
then, like
still-
it's still pretty rough. It's still like it doesn't take much to like kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah.
There was a little kid in there. He totally understood what was happening.
He must have loved it. That's unforgettable experience right
Oh
there.
yeah, he's probably like, yes, bad
On my
words.
way out, the manager did thank me. He was like, "We got it taken care of. We just wanted to thank you because no one else would have caught that." And I was like, I mean, I worked at a movie theater for a
We
long
gotta-
time, so like I
Yeah, I
understand
know.
the
We gotta
repercussions
do
of
what we gotta
parents.
do.
Like I understand.
You just
it,
saved
dude.
them. You just saved them from a night of angry parents.
Angry people, yeah. And then when it comes to like masking and stuff like that for movies, I tell them about that too. I'll run out and be like, yo, the masking's off whenever you get a minute.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was the
I can
first
tell
showing
when
of the
it's out of
day. Like
focus.
I caught it pretty quick though.
If I sit down, I can notice the projector's out of focus. I'm like, nope, I sit and stand right up.
Yeah,
Projector's out of
honestly,
focus.
I
Like,
stopped
I'm
going
not
to
sitting in this.
I stopped going to a couple of theaters just because the focus was off. And like I don't mean to complain, but like it's distracting me.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain point where like it's definitely like
Well, you
you
took
can
the time.
definitely
You paid a
accept it. Like if
ticket.
you took the
Yeah.
time to go out of your way to like tell somebody and they're chill about it, then that's fine. But like if you tell somebody and they don't give a shit, then it's like I'm probably never gonna come back here again.
Yeah.
Like my local like the theater I go to, they're really chill about it, and I don't have to. There's never focus complaint or anything like that. Projection complaint. It happened during Godzilla -1, but it wasn't their fault. But besides, the DCP was messed up. But whatever.
You're a psycho. Get out of here. It's basically just him like yelling at Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
in Wayne Manor.
it's Wolverine instead.
Yeah.
What if I told you that there was a letter that I burned because I knew it would hurt you? Don't do this, Alfred. Don't do this. How dare you use Rachel?
Oh,
She would have
shit.
waited.
Shit, wrong movie.
There's a great
Because
movie
like, yeah,
with Michael Caine in it from like the 60s or 70s. Like I think it's called The Man Who Would Be King. That
oh,
my
with Sean Connery.
yes, it's so damn good, and he's so awesome in it.
I have the digibook for that too.
God damn it! I knew you'd have something for it.
I had everything, man.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by the movie.
What's interesting because too, like in the beginning, you're so sympathetic towards Hugh Jackman. And then you as the audience too, like everyone around him is like, bro, you're psycho, man. I don't like you
You
anymore.
kind of
I like
suck,
Christian
yeah.
Bale now. I like Christian Bale now.
There's almost like a desperate, like kind of like sense to him. It's like you kind of feel bad for him. You're like, I gotta. You're almost on his side the entire movie, like wanting to know what
Until the
like
third
how he
act,
does
yeah.
it.
Hint right there. That's how he does it. That would not be allowed today.
I'm always
An
interested by
old man
movies
walking
about
up to
people
a
who
kid.
have to do with like doubles and shit like that. Like, what was the one with Jesse Eisenberg? Was it called The Double too?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
the
think
Richard
anybody saw
Ayoade
that
movie.
movie.
You mean Now You See Me Too?
You're talking to the wrong group of people right here that has seen the movie, actually.
I hate. Actually, okay, I'll say this. I don't hate the movie Now You See Me, but it doesn't make any sense when you think about it.
The sequel should have been called Now You Don't. God.
Okay,
It's
so
forgettable, but
there's
it's
when
funny.
was the last
Opportunities.
time that you guys saw the first movie?
That's the best
Because I
part.
could give it to.
We are experiencing technical difficulties again. It's okay.
So, the greatest reveal, one of the greatest reveals for Nolan. I think this is the only time I think. I mean, the ending of Memento in this right here are those endings, are they not? For him, where it's like the
Mm-hmm.
actual kind of like
I think
WTF
Memento probably has one
endings.
of his best endings.
I rewatched this ending a lot, and I rewatched the Dunkirk ending a lot.
Dunkirk has an amazing end. That's like emotional catharsis ending. So is
Mm-hmm.
uh Interstellar, Dark Knight. Those endings, they stick with you in a like positive way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I rewatch this all the time.
The ending of Oppenheimer is a return to this sort of ending, in my opinion. It's dark, but it's compelling.
I was lying. He said it was agony. I'll like randomly be in the kitchen and I'll be like, Alfred Borden, this day in the name of the King and the High God of England, you will meet your end. Just randomly, like on a Tuesday for no reason.
I feel like I quote shit like that, like the social network, like out of nowhere
Just
at
like the
work,
most
and no one
random
gets it.
lines. Yeah, for no reason. Like if
One
I
of
said
my
that
random
somewhere and
lines is
someone
from
got that
I go,
line, I'd be like, what? Like, all right,
yeah.
we're friends now. Guy's got a great voice though. Delivers these lines impeccably.
Yeah.
Get that Dutch angle. He's confused. Dutch angle. That's what that means.
and
And you have him like almost basically looking down the lens, basically at the
Almost, but
audience.
not.
Almost, yeah. Abracadabra. Wait, what? Nice.
Can't dodge a bullet, can you, magician?
He's Wolverine though. He'll be fine. What if he accidentally shot him in the head? Oh
Oh,
shit!
that's
I can't
freaking
have this
right.
whole can't have this whole speech now. Damn it! I missed. What? I literally gasped in the theater. I went. I was like, wait.
Yo, he really is the greatest magician.
Like me at 14 years old, like blown away.
Would it be crazy if he just like leaned in and was like, "This is the greatest show."
Then you finally see the trick.
Like I said, they use this in Doom 2, 3, but it doesn't beat this. It doesn't beat this. And the way that he's cutting through, like cutting back to it, like you
Mm-hmm.
don't even think about any of the like, oh, twins, like they probably shot, how did they shoot this or anything like that. You're just into the narrative. You just believe
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, like simple. It's the
Oh,
trick's simple, but it's not easy. Like we have to maintain this our entire lives. My leg or something gets blown off. Got to blow my leg off.
I don't know why my shit keeps cutting out. I'm hoping it doesn't cut out. I'm thinking of my Wi-Fi or something. It's my computer.
We've been having
it should be
technical
fine.
difficulties this
I'm
all
telling
right.
you, it's the magicians. They're
It's
messing with
they don't want
us.
us to know the tricks.
They're asking, are you
One of
paying
the only
attention?
episodes, I hope. I keep disappearing as a thing. I'm an actual magician.
The great Danton
Great
Padilla.
Denton.
The Great Danton.
I love
Could be
this.
worse, I guess. I mean, I got to a pretty good portion of it.
I love that it takes nothing to steal another man's work. Cut to him stealing Tesla's work. He just steals tricks.
Ironic.
It's a very Spielberg
Who's
shot.
gonna get
Just
there
a
first?
gun with the smoke. But
Also,
we
that
see.
that whatever that explosion was of the blood.
Mhm.
Very surprised that passage passed in PG-13.
As long as you make the
They
blood
wouldn't let.
look more like brown, it can pass.
Okay.
Yeah. Typically, like, I actually wrote a whole paper about like how PG-13 films tend to have more rated films, and like the only real difference is that R-rated films show blood.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They kind of
I
show
d-
like the
in
consequence of the violence rather than the actual act of it.
in seventh grade, I had to write like 3 or 4 argumentative papers, and one of them was about the MPAA. I've been aware of their mishaps. We'll call them mishaps.
Yeah, he basically just caught him essentially. Bro, you went halfway around the world and spent all this money, and you're a psycho. Like, look around you, dude.
But they don't care.
Yeah, it's like the audience knows this isn't real, but if you can fool them into believing it's real, they'll maybe believe it is real. Like movies,
That's what I'm saying.
you can make them wonder.
Every time I watch a Nolan movie.
Yeah.
And then you finally feel a little sympathy for him at the end there, right here, when he dies. Like, he just wanted to see the look on their faces when he finally did a good trick. That's all he wanted to do. So does movies. But
So the films, yes. Sometimes they're 5 acts, depending on what kind of film you're looking at.
Yeah.
Most of them are 3.
Return of the King. 8 endings.
Return of the King is a good 5-act movie. Some films I'd say, like, I think Oppenheimer low-key kind of does a 5-act structure.
Mm-hmm.
Like the end of the
Nice.
after the bomb goes off, that's the end of Act 3, I'd say.
Yeah.
I always liken it back to what Jeff Nichols says, where it's like, it's good to critique movies in 3 and 5 act structures, but it's not necessarily easy or conducive to write within it. It's not, it's almost too constricting. It's like you need those constrictions to some extent at some point, but not in the creative process.
He does
Back
the
to the
same,
hats.
does the same shot in Dunkirk with the helmets, but he just goes pants the other way. Helmets on the beach. Yeah, you want to be full.
Yeah, I know exactly what shot you're talking about too.
Mm-hmm. All right, Radiohead, let's go. Bump it.
Let's go.
Bump it.
Tom York, let's go. Nolan thought he was hot for this. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Nolan thought he was like,
Needle drop.
"Ooh." He was in the mixed room just dancing.
This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.